which means that after this session, provided we don't all die, you'll get the third, because then it'll be 14 points.
Yep. And he does have enough, so he is on enough to do that, especially after this session experience.
I'm a dragon when it comes to experience.
Just sits on it and hoards it. It's like playing hard mode in Pathfinder.
Yes.
So wait, does this mean that I can, steal his hoard and then spend it for myself?
No.
Nope.
Darn, I thought we killed dragons to take their loot.
I'm afraid that the dragons no longer exist on this side of the world. Unfortunately, the technocracy kind of removed them and turned them all into dinosaurs.
Who?
Damn.
This is legitimate World of Darkness lore, by the way. Just in case you weren't clear, because, yeah, things used to be pretty crazy.
Alright, Necromancer, go necromance me a dragon.
Yeah.
In any case...
I'm half already. Wait, hold on. What the fuck happened?
In any case, at least, well, obviously my recap took up like a page and some change, and there was another page worth of content for Olivia's specialness, and yeah, then the other 3.5 pages were basically, regular session stuff. So, I'm gonna take a drink to wet my mouth because I got a lot of talking to do.
Andrew's got to lube up.
Oh, I wish I would have got that on recording. I just started recording after you said that.
I got it.
Oh, you got it? Okay,
Yeah.
good.
I was about to say, wait, Steph's doing the recording? I thought that was Anna's job.
No.
No, I do a backup recording just in case. But
that's
Anna's
good. That's good.
Anna's the main recording. Damn it, Anna's main recording.
Mm.
Oh my god, I can't speak. She's the one who mainly records. There we go. Whatever. I can't fucking speak.
You said it fine multiple
So why
times.
are y'all sharing posts of your bathroom?
Because she painted it.
That's what
Yeah,
I've
I mean,
been
it
doing
does
all
look
day.
nice.
I did it.
Yeah, and
I've been doing it all day.
I wanted
Excellent.
Nick to see it because that's kind of the moody vibe I'm thinking of when we get a house.
Yep,
pretty
it's
much,
a
it's very
bathroom.
much our house now.
I like it.
It's a bathroom.
Just please don't get those fancy, like, name embroidered towels that you're
Hell
not
no.
actually supposed to use. They're just there for looking pretty.
Oh, I
would
want to
not
get one for
those.
Andrew. It's gonna have your name all on it.
But I won't be able to use it because it's an embroidered towel and you're not supposed to use those.
I mean, you were a-okay to have Dolgus have a pair of loincloths with his name stitched into it by a granny.
It's not the same thing as embroidered towels, man. They're so prevalent here in the South. I don't know about up there, but they're like, and you're just not supposed to use them.
Nick, can we embroider underwear for everybody now?
Yeah.
Everyone gets thongs.
Look what you did. Look what you did, Nick. Look what you did.
See, here's the thing, Steph, is what do you think the party favors were going to be for the wedding? Everybody who attends now gets an embroidered pair of underwear.
Oh boy.
Oh dear. In any case.
And yes, it is all lingerie.
Oh dear lord.
There's a site that does it. I just got to get the wedding registry from, from the book when everyone signs their name, and bam, I've got the name they want on their undies.
Oh my god. I'm doing it.
In any case, this is our 16th proper session, or 17th session if you count the interlude session, or like, I don't know, 21st if we're also counting the preludes each of their own session, even though there was only one of you in each of them. So, do whatever math there you want. But, previously on Seattle by Night, the coterie returns to the Daily Bagel, new homeless acquisition in tow. On arrival at the Bagel, a very sleepless Kyle is there to greet you, looking like he's been particularly obsessing over the disappearances on the mortal side of things, caused by rippling shockwaves on the supernatural side and general prelude to war. It does, however, quickly become apparent that he has not been waiting about alone. The abandoned laptop on the table is the first clue, but a toilet flush later, the sound of washing hands, followed by the padding of footsteps, reveals your latest guest, Lucy Pines. The daughter Ward Ghoul of Mylena and Bruce, freelancers who have done work for Alvin this week, was left here with Kyle's permission in Alvin's stead, as the two are off to do some reconnaissance and possibly make a decision about whether or not to flee town in face of the gathering storm. Lucy may be staying at the Bagel for a night or 3 going forward, which Alvin approved. Jim, your pet hobo, or former hobo, is shown to the bathroom downstairs, where the man proceeds to spend a little over an hour washing, scrubbing, and just generally getting his mind wrapped around his new circumstances, as Olivia's mindfuckery begins to wear off and fear returns. Phone calls ensue, one to Father Elio Vitale, in which Alvin schedules a meeting with the renegade Lasombra for midnight the next evening. Ashley in turn calls her sire, Dr. Thorne, and they speak a bit at length, during which Dr. Thorne shares what he knows of Clan Lasombra's gifts, both from personal experience and from personal experience. Pius vanishes into the sewers without breathing so much as a word to anyone, off to meet with Lynette. His meeting involves conversations about the use of wraiths, though sadly he's so caught up in the idea of using the deceased as guards that he forgets to consider that Lynette may have been able to help deal with Ashley's, and by extension the coteries, Wraithly Watcher problem. He then goes on to practice a ritual, his first, under Lynette's watchful eye. He succeeds, and gains the impressions of the time of their death from the victim whose neck he snapped. He still doesn't feel guilty about it either. Pius then returns via the sewers to the Daily Bagel. It's only after he does so, which the night has grown later, that he remembers the Wraith watching Ashley and in general experiences a facepalm moment. Alvin has a moment with Jim and Lucy Pines, in which he introduces and eases Jim into this frightening new world the old man finds himself in. Conferring together and exchanging information, the coterie, sans Olivia, who is stuck in a booth massaging her ears while whispering random nothings to her everything bagel, head for Elysium. On arrival at Elysium, other than its keeper Thalia Smith, the establishment feels rather empty, compared to how it normally is. Most of those here are fledglings, either deposited here by their sires like some sort of odd vampire night care, or here on their own accord as some sort of representative for their own enforced coteries. The available trio of the coterie splits up to have a word with different people. Pius and Ashley each seek out a member of their clan, and Alvin chats up Ezreal Skinner, one adopted child of Waif. The absence of the Primogen is noted, but the coterie did learn earlier that night there was some sort of important meeting going down between the Primogen, the prince, and a few chosen guests. Others were busy preparing to ensure their domains and own plots are capable of withstanding the renewed presence of the Sabbat. A bit of weird whispering into Alvin's ear by the keeper, despite her both being up on stage and actively singing at the same time, and the coterie soon gathers to share with each other what they have learned. It's late enough now that plans for the evening's end need to be made. Ashley is deposited back at the chantry, but not before Alvin threatens to stick her in robes and a pointy hat. And its arcane embrace perhaps feels extra safe tonight, sheltering her from the eyes of the wraith that remains stuck outside. Alvin, Pius, and Olivia end up crashing at the Bagel, having another movie night, though not before Alvin gets off a message to Anthony, this time with Pulp Fiction before the day's sleep claims them. Now, normally, this is where we would begin with Alvin, but things happen during the day's sleep, for one of you in particular. Olivia, your dreams within dreams are very turbulent tonight. You find yourself moving through the city, keeping to its backways, its alleyways. It is foggy, but that cloudy curtain is so very thin, offering very little with which to hide from within. There is something out there. Maybe multiple something. Oh wait, actually, sorry. I forgot to switch. I have a thing set up for this. I'm
Nice.
dumb. You move through the
Oh,
city,
jeez.
keeping to its backways and alleyways. It is foggy, but that cloudy curtain is so very thin, offering very little with which to hide from within. There is something out there. Maybe multiple somethings. Normal size somethings, but also enormous somethings. They mustn't see you. Every step you take seems to be at once far too loud, every puddle splash causing a wince and a tremble as you struggle between the animalistic desire to move faster and the thinking need to be quiet. And you feel like you are failing at both. There are no people around. There should be people around. Where are they? You are oh so very alone. Your arms are empty. No floppy hand-sewn friends do you have left. Did you lose them? Did you fail them? Of course you did. How could you ever think that you would be enough to keep them safe? Even before you foolishly wandered from that sweet blood-stained mist. You can't even remember the order in which you lost them, but they are gone now. Every time it finds you, every time it caught you, every time you weren't fast enough, one more slipped through your fingers. It didn't even try to hunt you, not at the start. One by one, the people, they became fewer. One by one, they vanished. Where did they go? Disgusting sludge lines the streets, the drains choking down a molasses of blood and flesh and something else besides. Drinking deep on a concoction of innocence stained with terror and agony. Perhaps the city itself is one of those things now, and you've already been devoured. The sky is no longer weep, it has no more tears left to give. The thinning fog is all that's left from the once plentiful moisture of sorrow. Where are the people? You can't even find the monsters now. Familiar faces of horror scared you, but you'd welcome them over the abominations lurking just out of sight. Your dress is in tatters. Its red stains have long since faded to a brackish brown. You'd be concerned if there was anyone around to stare. There is no one. Even Miriam isn't here anymore. Too bad. You take an embarrassing nightmare within a dream readily over this. Your steps, too loud, carry you down a thin alley lined with posters. On one side, every inch of the imposing colossus of the building's wall is filled and then filled again with flyers. Missing persons. They are all smiling, smiling ear to ear. But their eyes are so very terrible. They're scared. They see what's coming. They know they're next down the esophagus of oblivion. Chattel and fuel and raw materials. They don't want it, but want it over with. The other side, credit advertisements. Goods and services looking out of the 50s. Wholesome families gathered together. They feast and they celebrate. Their plates are full of red. Their cups are full of red. Table and faces stained with red. Their open laughing mouths, each a yawning abyss, a bottomless hole, competes to swallow the most. A patriarch smiles down at the rest, cheerfully cutting into the roast. What is that roast? The air gusts about you, like a giant intake of breath. Perhaps it is, and it's far too close. Too close. You run, fleeing through the maze like some sort of funny little rodent. Occasionally your feet slip in the sloppy mass of viscera coating the ground. Occasionally you fall, each time coating yourself in a new wave of gore. Still no people. Time has no meaning. The night is without end, one long chase. You can't be caught, but you're always so close to failing. There are no more lives to be sacrificed for your own. You leave the last alleyway, and an intersection lays before you. Except the road is gone, and all that remains is a yawning abyss. A giant looming pit. The broken pipes of the sewers gush forth the broth of stewed innocence the city has been so keen on devouring, flowing and twisting down into the center. There's someone down there, a woman, garbed in black, scooping up the molasses concoction, the same brew that never seems to touch her save her hands as she plasters it together like some sort of papier-mâché project for school. The goop is her glue, and for her materials, well, that is an awful lot of parts. She builds something, and you watch. You can't look away. But where are the people? You watch. You wait. You forget you were running. You forget you were hiding. You don't care anymore when the footsteps approach you from behind, no matter how impossibly loud they are, nor how they stomp. You hear the groaning and the moaning and the growling. Clearly they woke up on the wrong side of the bed, or maybe they bruised themselves. You turn to look. Maybe they need help. You found the people! They stand together so well, it's almost touching. There's no line where one ends and another begins. Just one big mass of arms, of legs, of blinking eyes, of crying eyes, of terrible eyes, and all the mouths. Some drool, probably hungry, the poor things. Some gape in silent agony. Others whisper or moan. They beg for help, or perhaps tell you to run. How ridiculous. There's nowhere to run now. One of the mouths, this one somewhere in the chest, stretches open impossibly wide. Guess it's your turn to join. At least you know where the people are now. And with that, it's time for actual awakenings.
That was cool.
I hope you enjoyed that. I enjoyed writing that one.
Yeah, that was good.
Uh,
Did I break someone? I hope I did.
Hey, at least you found the people.
yeah, I think so. That was intense. I loved it. I don't know what to say.
Sorry I had to start over there at the beginning, but that would not have been nearly as awesome without the switch in the music and the
That's okay.
background. I will of course send you the text copy because, reasons.
Yeah.
But I may just drink something because that made me thirsty. Or rather, dried out my mouth. Should probably clarify that. Now then, as usual, Alvin's cheat codes go first. Alvin, you awaken from your slumber in your own room. Your day sleep is quiet and uneventful. Aside from your desk, your room is clean and readily waiting. The desk is an organized mess of tidbits and parts in your task to finally fix your computer after Pius wrecked it for the ad hoc police scanner he put together and then abandoned. Though at least Kyle has been getting some use out of it. There's the usual sounds of people moving around upstairs. Is there anything you do before you head up?
Nope. Coffee's paper, sunshine.
Yep. When you arrive up the stairs in the main room, it's the usual post-closing cleanup and chill. Sarah is nowhere to be seen, but it wouldn't surprise you if she didn't come in today. Kyle is here, his expression a little less grim than last night, but even if you didn't know him as well as you do, you can tell it's still worn about him like a shroud. Jess looks a little better, sweeping and going about her routine, distracted somewhat by chatting happily with one Lucy Pines, who is wearing the uniform and apron typically donned by your staff that work in the cafe. Their shared conversation seems to be doing a good job to keep Jess's mind on other things than what came out yesterday. Joshua is standing on a ladder, currently switching out one of the light bulbs, even as a now much more cleaned up Jim, beard partly trimmed and overall looking nothing like the hobo you met last night, holds the ladder steady and passes things to Joshua as the handyman janitor needs them. Jim is wearing the same outfit as the rest of the cafe personnel, with Joshua the only exception for obvious practical reasons. The pair seem to be talking shop about something, though they are quiet enough that you can't immediately hear them. Good evening, boss, Kyle will say from behind the counter.
Alvin will give him a nod. Glad to see everyone's here and healthy.
Yep. Sarah wasn't feeling up to work, but I told her not to worry about it. She should stay home for right now with her family.
Agreed.
Lucy will shoot you a wink from where she's working with Jess, but she still focuses on her conversation with Jess.
Alvin will kind of, look to Kyle and go, anything that I should know about for today?
No particular alarms, which is, I suppose, a good thing to hear.
Yeah.
Had a lot of craziness going on lately, so even with all this, nothing too terrible.
It's good to have a little bit of, R&R sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. New guy's working out all right. Seems very focused when he's putting his head down, keeping to work.
Excellent.
Haven't had any problems with him anyway.
Well then, I suppose that since the shop's all set for the evening, anyone who's looking to head on home, feel free. Place looks great.
It's the Jess and Joshua are perhaps the only two that readily and Kyle to some degree, that readily go somewhere else. But Joshua, so, just gives you a nod, but finishes focusing on his work with the light bulb. You can tell he's just about done.
Mm-hmm.
Jim will, however, after making sure that Joshua is finishing up, will walk on over to you. So, hey, about those arrangements, where should I be going? I know I kind of got in a bit of a nap downstairs this morning, but is there anywhere I should, I guess, be staying at? I can make do with a lot, so just like, even a blanket or something on the floor, I'll be fine.
Since we're converting the upstairs into the expanded business at some point, would Alvin know whether or not any of the other local owners were having any other extra vacancies on top
Yes, I
of what I
believe
was?
part of your meeting did include ensuring that there would be other apartments nearby for your tenants to move into.
Mm-hmm. Basically, what I'm looking at here is whether or not there's an additional one on top of that Jim might be able to move into, so to speak, even if that means that Alvin might have to foot the bill on that for a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Until he gets his first paycheck and can pay his own rent.
Get on his feet kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah. Well, yeah, let's go ahead and say yes.
Okay.
There was enough extra rooms that there's probably some leeway. I mean, it's an entire street worth, so yeah.
Alvin will kind of look over to him. It's like, for the time being, you can nap downstairs if you need to, but we'll be sure to get you set up with an apartment on the street lots here. A number of the other business owners have apartments that are up for rent. And until you're ready to be on your own 2 feet for a bit, get you situated.
Thanks. I really appreciate this, even if things are kind of weird. All in all, he doesn't say anything specific, but you know what he's talking about.
I like to make sure that the people who are under my employ are well taken care of.
Hmm. Now, if only the government had been as kind after things went down in Vietnam. Oh well.
Alvin nods and gives a small chuckle to that because he knows exactly what he's talking about.
Hmm.
That said, I don't really have a whole lot for this starting of the evening, more just, getting things ready for the eventual meeting.
Indeed. And so one by one, most of them trickle off. You're left with, Jim went downstairs, off either to take a nap or perhaps take another shower. I mean, you can't blame the guy for enjoying a shower after so long. Kyle probably hangs around a little bit. He's probably going to switch over to that favorite booth you found him in the last night when you came back. Lucy is obviously here for the time being and the foreseeable next few nights.
Which I'm sure that we've also arranged for one of the empty apartments upstairs to be kind of like a nice little domicile for her for the time being.
Indeed.
Since they're not converted yet.
But Joshua does give his farewells, and after putting up his stuff, heads on out.
Good stuff.
Even with all the disappearing people, he seems to be the least personally phased by it. But he's a big guy and a strong-looking guy, so he's probably not as afraid of getting mugged as some others would be.
I mean, I do make sure to like watch as like people make their way to their vehicles or modes of transportation. I know you said Joshua rides a bicycle to work.
That he does. And then it was just you. Are you going to be preparing for your meeting later, or are you going to be trying to fix your computer? Or are you going to save that for later tonight?
If Kyle's chilling in his booth, I'm gonna kind of lean over and kind of poke at him. Doing all right there, Kyle?
Not really. I mean,
Seem to be carrying a lot of weight on those shoulders.
just wish I could be doing something. About, well, then he'll gesture down to where the folded papers of all the missing persons are still kind of stacked.
The police scanner hasn't helped you at all, then I'm
You
struggling
know, I
on
hear
my end
them,
as
they're
well.
looking, they're chasing down leads, talking about things being called in, but most of it, at least, never seems to pan out.
I doubt that.
Sometimes you can, if you read between the lines, you can even tell them being called or led away from certain places. I imagine that's how our tower is hand in that.
Mm-hmm. They're not going to be allowed to find much of import, and if they did, they're going to be sent in a different direction. We didn't really find a whole lot at the scene of the crime. All we found was Jim, and
Even
even
if we
his account. Yeah,
even if we do find these people, and they're not already turned into one-shot killing machines or the like, I mean, are we even going to be able to send them back to their families? I mean, what if, like, I guess the sheriff and his boys just put them all down because security risk?
that's entirely possible, but that is a reality you're going to have to come to grips with. This isn't going to be pretty.
Yeah, yeah.
When I made the mention that this is going to be war, I meant that quite literally. There are going to be casualties, and you're not going to be able to save everyone. So, that being said, keep an eye on the ones that you do have, and try not to lose too much more sleep at night. It'll ruin your health.
Yeah, sure thing, boss. And Kyle will eventually stand up and scoop up the papers and the scanner and give you a nod before heading out the door.
Hey, Kyle. Don't think I've stopped looking. We'll get answers and make sure that this gets taken care of at least as quickly as we can.
Right. Well, at the very least, the sooner it's taken care of, the less people get involved. Right. Now, I'll see you tomorrow night, boss. Or you can just give me a call if you need anything.
Of course. I'll let him leave at this point.
And we move on as soon as I finish sipping my drink.
Mhm.
I might need a refill. Olivia, you awaken, your form firmly embraced in something. It's not warm, wet, or hot, and there are no jagged, pointy bits piercing your skin. But even so, it takes a long moment for you to realize you're not being devoured whole anymore. You're deep in the embrace of one of the overly large beanbag sitting options in Alvin's movie lounge. Tangled in blankets you don't remember being quite so tight. The cup holding your everything bagel is partly smushed, and the bagel itself looks rather stale. Perhaps it's run out of space to hold secrets. When you sit up, a glance around the room shows only one other occupant, Pius, currently still dead to the world in a recliner. Sounds of movement and distant voices upstairs are almost comforting. At least in this unending dream world, it is less nightmarish than the other one. The idea of actual people, and not people stuck together in angry, unnatural blobs, practically demands you to get up there at once. If only to remind yourself you are, while still stuck in a dream, at least in the better one. You'd love to wake up, but you'll take this one over the other one any day.
Oh yeah. That was super intense. The dream.
Ah, did I take that too far? I'm sorry. I get wrapped up
No,
in writing those.
no, that was fine. I I really did like it. So wait, are you having Olivia head upstairs?
Well, that's up to you, but presumably you would want to be up there with actual people, or at least actual dream people that aren't like, fused together in some sort of monstrous concoction.
Before she heads upstairs, she's gonna like take a look at Pies just to make sure he's okay, nothing's wrong, while she's gripping the pocket watch that's actually in the inner pocket of her jacket.
Mm.
And when
He
she
looks like a
realizes,
corpse, but that's pretty normal for sleeping vampires.
yeah. So basically everything checks out. He's normal. He's a cadaver right now.
Indeed.
Um, so she's gonna head upstairs and see who's up there.
There are currently only 3 people upstairs. You hear someone moving around downstairs, but that's in the shower, and you don't want to disturb them. But upstairs, there are only 2. Lucy, who is currently getting her things together, unless she's being forced out to a different
Mm-mm.
room, and Alvin.
No.
Oh, and
Lucy is allowed to roam as she likes, kind of thing.
I do want to make a point to say I do spend a blood point so she doesn't look like a walking corpse all night.
That blood point is only good for a scene.
Oh, it
All
is?
right. Yep. Speaking of which, everyone remember to not. It's a new night, so subtract 1 blood point for waking up. Also regain 1 willpower point, and then Olivia, I need you to spend a willpower point for prophetic dreams.
Oh, I already minused everything. Oops. Hold on.
Okay. Well, in this case, you just don't gain 1 then, because you lose 1, you gain 1, and you lose 1, so you basically never had it.
Okay. Yeah, because I already minused the initial
Mhm.
blood point, and
Yep.
then I did the willpower already preemptively.
Hmm. Indeed.
So I guess so never mind the 1 blood point then. I'll wait until I need it. But
Lucy is a ghoul, so she's in the know. You don't have to worry about
Mm-hmm.
her.
okay. So Olivia's not really looking too hot after that dream. She kind of doesn't like the way that dream played out or how it made her feel after waking up. And she, I guess, kind of greets Alan and,
Alvin.
yeah. She, but yeah, she greets Alvin just basically kind of like it's a week. Like, hey,
Evening.
Alvin, Olivia does not look like herself. Or rather, she looks like herself, but there's definitely something off there. You don't need to be a people expert to be able to tell that.
Good thing I am a people expert. What kind of she doesn't look good does this come up as?
Olivia,
Just
feel free to describe it.
a
well, it
reminder,
looks
I'm insightful.
that's
Mhm.
right. Well, I guess it looks like, and I know it's kind of, I'm not good at describing off the bat, but it looks like someone who's kind of having a panic attack or anxiety attack. Like you could just see the heaviness.
Almost that you've seen a ghost.
Yeah, basically like if she could pale even further, that's what you would see.
Her eyes are wide. She's
Having
probably nervously looking
spoken,
about.
having spoken to her with the party about her ability to dream as a vampire. And being that Alvin is, proficient in insightfulness, I'm just gonna take the stab at this.
Feel
Olivia,
free.
did you have a terrible dream again?
She kind of looks up at him because she's still kind of almost like shocked about it, of how intense it was, and she just kind of nods at you.
Do you need another bagel?
And she just like shakes her head no.
Do you want a blanket?
And she just looks at you like, no, I don't. I want to get out of here.
Well, I did need to go grab a bite before our meeting. Come with?
Olivia kind of hesitates and she doesn't say anything, but she hears a doubtful voice that you're going to basically call her a lunatic again, and so she hesitates because of that.
Gonna be going to the arts area for the university. If you're interested, take a small jaunt, let Pius wake up, see if Ashley stops back by, get some fresh air.
I'll hold down the fort, Lucy calls from the corner.
Thank you.
Oh, Olivia kind of scratches her arm a little bit and she looks around. She looks back at you and she basically says she's going to go with you because her chances of probably surviving whatever the hell her dream was is better being with her coterie instead of alone.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you certainly survived the longest out of all of them. After all, they each sacrificed themselves for you at some point. Or you lost them. One of the two.
Ooh. That's bad.
I'm just going to be whispering these terrible nothings in your ear all night long because you're going to be shaken up about this.
Oh yeah, Olivia's not gonna be the super fun Olivia all the time this round.
So, I suppose that Olivia and Alvin will hit the car and head out to college town and see what kind of art students are doing some late night roaming about.
Well, it's definitely still early evening, or at least early in the night, so there's definitely plenty of activity going on.
Effectively, since Alvin's got some ins with the college, I'm sure he's got an idea of who might be at least fitting of his hunting needs. Alvin's basically just trying to, snag a student's attention for a bit and, maybe have a little quote unquote chat with them and,
Well, there is a, let's say, student-run art expo tonight. It's a Sunday night affair, because tonight is Sunday. We've actually gone a full week in game, ain't it great?
right.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be doing time skips soon enough.
Great. But on the drive there, Alvin would kind of, just glance over to Olivia every once in a while. So what's up?
What do you mean, what's up?
You wanted to get out of there. What's on your mind?
Um, well, I don't feel safe out here anymore.
All right.
And I had a dream.
Yeah, I still don't know how you do that, but seems like it's not exactly being a fun thing for you.
No. Um, this one was a lot more intense, and I don't think it's something we should ignore or just be lackadaisical about.
All right. Well, you have my ear.
So Olivia's gonna tell Alvin the whole dream, and I'm not gonna go through it again.
Right.
So that's way too much. Um Andrew, can we link that into the general chat? For I know that Pius and Ashley aren't here to hear it yet, but they're gonna end up knowing soon anyway. They
Okay.
already heard it.
One
That,
moment. There you go.
alright, thank you. Um, so she tells Alvin the dream, and basically the fear of everyone disappearing in one way or another, whether it's something gets them or they just up and leave or whatever, it doesn't matter. The fact that something bad is happening and she's not sure exactly where this is, but it was too realistic to ignore.
Alvin, after kind of like listening to her explain the extent of the dream, as they're kind of rearing up towards College Town area, will kind of stop at the curb and, put the car into park for a moment and just kind of look over to her, give a, fairly deep sigh and, put a hand on her shoulder. Olivia, I want you to listen to me and kind of try to internalize what I'm going to toss your way. You have these dreams that no other of our kind tend to have, or at least it's sounds like it's a fairly rare quirk. So you're right. This shouldn't be ignored. And what I'm about to suggest is not an ignoring of this, but more hoping that this gives you a little peace. I'm, at least from my side of things, you can think of your dreams a little bit like Doctor Strange's powers from like the comics, right? He's able to kind of look into futures or time or weird realities and stuff like that. Your
I'm
dreams
just
sound a little bit like that. Possibilities, things that could genuinely happen, but don't always happen. Maybe in a different way that we go about things, this ends badly. No one makes it out alive and the Sabbat win. But knowing that the people go missing, you find a blob of people. That could be a hint as to what the Sabbat plan to do, at least with the human population of the city. Maybe the rest of the Camarilla, drops like flies in the wake of their destruction. Whatever that is, might be worth looking into for something that Ashley could do with the libraries of the Tremere. Maybe we could posit this to some of your own clan members. Maybe someone else in your clan has oracular abilities similar to yours that might be able to help you interpret some of these dreams that you're having. But I don't want you to think that this dream that you're having is necessarily going to come true. At least, not if we try to take some steps to avoid it. Does that make sense?
oh, it didn't go in right. Um Basically Olivia's balling up her fist because she believes wholeheartedly that this dream is happening right now, even if it's not at the point it is, it's happening right now. Too many disappearances, everything, and she's getting visibly upset. Like, she knows what Alvin's trying to do, but she's having a hard time finding the right words to say to him, and it's not comforting because she believes it's happening right now. And she basically kind of tells him that, basically just says, no, this is happening right now. We can't just, it's not, it might be a possibility. I think it's happening right now.
Yes, I get that, Olivia, but what I'm saying is that if we take steps, we could probably avoid it. But right now, we have to wait for the uppers to finally make a damn decision. And on top of that, we need to do research in order to understand what that dream means. What's that creature that's made of all the massive corpses? Why or what could even cause such a phenomenon? What could make all of the people disappear? I'm not saying your dream's invalid, and I'm not saying it won't happen. I'm saying that it is a piece to the puzzle. It is the end picture of what the Sabbat might want. I'm not a studious man. I'm just a soldier. I can only shoot what's in front of me. But I know that there are people who are more learned than I am that might be able to help figure out what that dream of yours means. Yeah, it could be happening right now, but I don't have something to shoot. Do you get where I'm leaning?
I get it, but we need to find answers soon. This is getting bad.
Sure. Tonight, meeting, midnight, Vitale, La Sombra lore. That's what we're hitting. We know that's what's in front of our plate. We know that's what we can look into. And, when Ashley shows up and when Pius wakes up, we'll bring them into the fold and maybe we can see whether the clans they have access to has something that might lead us to more. Alright?
Okay.
I'm on your side. I'm not trying to stay stationary for this. War doesn't wait for people to react. It just happens. So, I'm gonna grab a quick bite so that way if we happen to come into a circumstance that requires it, I'm not underfueled for what's to come.
All right, I guess I'll probably go for a small bite too.
Alright then. We'll go ahead and snag someone for you since you can grab just about anybody. Just point out who you want.
You arrive at the student-run art expo tonight. There are things ranging from the amateurish to the... Oh yeah, that person's an up-and-comer. You can tell. There might not be anything big yet, but they're probably going to go far if they... provided that they stick to it to go the distance.
Yeah, so if we can get Olivia's target, Alvin will try to assist her. A little bit of charm and guile.
Can Olivia use her Auspex? Where is it? Aura perception. She's gonna try to find someone who's a little bit more happier than her.
Just a little bit more happier than her.
Okay, more. Probably someone who.
It's like just about. I would have to roll to even see if there's someone that's not happier than her right at this moment.
Okay, fine. Someone who's like just calm, and hopefully that rubs off on her while she's feeding on him.
Well, there is that one young man over there, calmly smiling, wearing a beret, and drinking a cup of coffee. Sadly, it's not the Bagel's coffee, but the Bagel closed recently. I mean, it's a ways away, so it's probably something considerably more local, or fresher at the very least.
I just want to eat him because he's wearing a beret.
A fine Malkavian decision. Do you want to roleplay this, or would you prefer to just roll?
Probably just roll.
All right. How are you going about this hunt?
She's gonna walk up to him and basically just be like, "Hey, you have a nice beret. Can I look at it?"
Are you going for a distraction here, or a seduction, or a what?
Distraction.
You know what? We can go with manipulation subterfuge.
Alright, do I have that already here? No, I don't. Nope, I do not. Okay. Manipulation, subterfuge.
Difficulty 6. Actually, difficulty 5. He's pretty relaxed. And he likes getting compliments on his beret.
Oh, come on, why did that just... Difficulty 5, subterfuge... Okay.
You are fine. How much blood are you going to take from him, and are you going to make out? Well, rather, you're going to make it look like you're making out here, or are you going to drag him off somewhere first?
Um, Probably just make it look like we're making out. And
Hmm.
I think she's gonna take only... Is it 3 that they can take without harming? She's just gonna...
Two without any harm. 3 they'll be lightheaded, but otherwise fine.
Then 3.
Alrighty, you will take 3. And the question is, do you keep the beret?
Oh yeah, I'm keeping that bitch.
It's a fancy French-looking black affair.
That
Yeah.
fits her character
You leave
too.
him with You leave him with a very dazed, happy expression while you walk off wearing his beret.
There you go. She's gonna go back to Alvin's car and wait for him.
Alvin, you're used to navigating these scenes by now. It's how you normally hunt. How do you go about approaching your prey? There's a fairly large amount of them here compared to how normal they are to find elsewhere. So you shouldn't have much trouble.
Trying to make sure. Allows anything to simple, complex directives. It is useful for now.
Oh, hey, Olivia.
What?
Steph. I take it that the other missing points of willpower are for the thing you plan to use them for later?
Yeah, I just preemptively
Okay.
took them off so I don't forget.
Okay. I was just making sure you weren't about to get that low or something like that. Cause if you hadn't already taken them off, you know.
Oh, no.
Okay, so that is that.
So how are you hunting,
Effectively,
Alvin?
so mesmerize, I can verbally implant a false hypnotic suggestion in a target's subconscious mind.
Are you just going to dominate them into following you into a secluded corner for you to feed on?
Yes, basically.
I won't even make you roll. Let's you can get that to happen on even a single success.
I was double checking whether or not the dominate powers consumed blood, and it doesn't look like they do.
No,
so.
they don't. They do not. That's one of their advantages over presence. Presence pretty much always requires blood, but dominate. Remember, if a discipline power doesn't mention the use of blood, it doesn't require blood, with like certain exceptions like thaumaturgy.
Yep, I figured I'd just mesmerize, a target to kind of lure them over and just, take 3 points and call it a day.
Yep. After which, do you head back to your vehicle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try to keep out of sight, out of mind.
You find Olivia waiting with wearing a beret.
New hat, huh?
You like it?
It actually kind of suits you.
She kind of
I kind of just want to
smiles.
Photoshop a beret on top of her current
I know.
image.
That would be so funny. I don't have that though.
Takes
I don't have that
image,
skill.
goes to AI art generator, adds beret.
Please add beret.
Black beret.
Anywho, yeah, no, sounds cool.
Yeah, she kind of smiles, but the dream is still pretty much
Fresh.
very heavy on her.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Again,
but
there's a pat on the back to her, like Alvin doesn't say much of it's just more of like that calming pat, like it'll be okay.
yeah.
And since we both got our snack, Alvin's gonna drive him back to the bagel, so that way they're there hopefully in time for Pius to wake up or Ashley to have arrived.
Indeed, we will be
and
going
just
to
ran
Ashley
upstairs because
once
the
she's
kids.
back. Yeah,
Yeah,
kind of waiting on her to get back first.
kids
Okay.
accidentally let the cats out of the house, so she's outside trying to chase them.
Aww.
No.
No, don't let them get run over.
I hope she can get him.
Yeah.
Does she need help?
I don't know.
How much is your leg hindering you right now?
I hear her screaming, so she's back inside with the cats.
Oh, okay.
Right.
I hope so.
They can move pretty damn fast when they're out in the open.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm gonna take a moment to get a drink then.
I'm excited for tomorrow, though, for the BBQ.
Oh yeah.
What's going
Even
on?
if
What BBQ?
So all of the groomsmen and bridesmaids, like the wedding party, basically, we're gonna go over to Dave and Anna's, and whether we can be outside or not, we're gonna go over there and just hang out and have dinner with everybody.
Nice, nice. I'm jealous.
We got
Take
all the
pictures.
meats and
Share
stuff.
pictures. I want to see pictures. I hope you're getting that fire pit in use. I saw them pictures of the fire pit.
Hopefully we can.
What
Welcome
what
back.
Thanks.
Welcome
we weren't
back.
told. What we weren't told is that Dave went and murdered one of the staff workers of the local Arby's because they've got the meat now.
Dave told us the cats got out.
Yep.
Everything okay?
Yeah, I got them all. They were in the yard, but
Good
Okay.
stuff.
all three of them. Door was wide open.
Oh. Well, I'm glad you were able to get them all back in.
And that was Orion, right?
I don't know which one opened the door and left it open.
One of them doing something dumb, probably. Dumb
Yep.
kid stuff.
It happens, sadly.
Indeed.
Well,
In any case, now that you're back, Ashley, the ceiling of your private dormitory greets you as your eyes snap open. Let me actually move us to as a entry.
Ooh, I'm in the chantry and I'm not supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just kidding.
your eyes.
Hey, Olivia, astral project into there.
Right now. I don't have the will. I gotta save my willpower points. I can't astral project right now.
Damn.
She's planning on spending 3 of them later.
I know. I'm joking.
Okay. Ashley, the ceiling of your private dormitory greets you as your eyes snap open from the day sleep. It's comforting, even after the revelations about your sire and the shattered pedestal upon which you once held him. It's safe here, and absolutely free from wraithly stalkers. If there's one place in Seattle Lucio cannot reach you, it's here. A shame you will be leaving tonight, as you always do. Going through your habituals takes time, but the routine soothes you. Routine is good, and it is safe. You catch a glimpse of some of the others as you move through the twisting halls of the chantry. The required patterns of turns and straights to get from one room to another, as you desire, long since engraved almost like muscle memory. Tobias is in one of the sitting rooms, drinking from a small chalice containing what you assume is blood. Sue and Theo are conversing about something in a shadowed nook of the library. Sue in particular looking like she's about to leave, though not from anything Theo has said. Richard Hill is talking about something with Valentine, the quartermaster. Do you stop with any of them on your way out?
Don't really have a whole lot to do with them tonight. The only business she really was trying to get up to, as of recently, was talk to the Primogen? No, yes, Primogen.
The Regent Steel?
Yeah.
Well, you could try to seek an appointment with him if you want, but there's no guarantee. Not right now, anyway.
Yeah, with everything in the air, it'd be a little bit hard to do.
So heading to the bagel then.
Is she allowed to take books from the library and just borrow them?
Not outside the walls of the chantry. To your own room, yes. but outside the chantry, no. Not without a very special permission. The Tremere are jealous about hoarding their secrets.
True. Then, nope. Off to the chantry she goes.
Off to the bagel then. In that
Or
case,
out of the chantry. Bleh.
the ghoul that chauffeurs you to the Daily Bagel arrives at about the same time another car is pulling up into the private garage around the back of the building. So by the time that Alvin and Olivia are back in the main room, Ashley's being let into that main room by Lucy. They're just coming in from different ways. Ashley, you're not the biggest people person, but Olivia definitely doesn't look entirely right tonight, even without including the beret.
Hey, Olivia. You doing okay there?
Maybe? No, not
Do
really.
Do you need a hug?
Do I? I love hugs, but no,
Okay.
not right. Not right now.
Last time you were embraced by anything, it was the crushing, warm, hot mess of that open maw. I'm not sure you want to be crushed again.
Not really. Um, I had a a dream,
Hmm.
and basically Olivia tells Ashley about her dream. All the gory details, everything from beginning to end, and just yeah, it's not looking so hot.
Hmm. That sounds familiar. I think I've read about it, but I don't remember where I read it.
Well, I know I don't want any stew, and I don't want any broth.
Well, it's a good thing you don't have to eat that anymore.
Oh yeah, that's true. But yeah, she's not feeling too good, so that's about all on her end. She kind of just sits down, and she's just out of it. Boop.
Now that it's a new night, Ashley would like to try and see if there's a thing hanging over her head.
Very well, seeing the unseen. Feel free for both of you to roll. And again, one moment, let me bring it up. In this case, perception and awareness. Difficulty 7. I don't remember what dice pool I gave it. Let me see if I saved that.
Do you need me to roll that too?
Yeah, go ahead. Olivia's whisper practically echoes around the room.
See, that was. What was it again? I'm sorry. Perception and what?
Perception and awareness. Difficulty 7.
Okay, got it. Oh shit. I guess
Yep.
that dream really did
Olivia,
fuck her up.
yep. Olivia, you cannot see it tonight, but Ashley, you can.
Ooh.
Olivia's too busy with her internal thoughts to realize it's right there. But not Ashley. Now she can see it for the first time.
I should spank its booty.
just hovering there, staring down at you.
Ash is gonna just stare at it for a moment and just be like, "You're an ugly thing."
Hmm. Meanwhile, as Olivia does her whispering, you do your staring, and Alvin does whatever he's doing. Pious, you come too, unlife once more stretching through your body. The first time might have been a hiccup, but now you're sure of it. You're definitely waking up a little later than you are in your preceding weeks of unlife. Squeakers is sleeping on your eyes, drooling over one, plump rat butt over the other. You wonder what the plan is for tonight, and you're sure Alvin does have plans. There's just so much you could be doing, and it never seems like there's enough time. Things have been looking up for you lately, though, what with necromancy lessons, time with Lynette, your new private haven whenever you want to get away from the Warrens, and family still around to have your back when you need them. Honestly, everything about this unlife just seems leaps and bounds better than what you had when you were alive. You've really taken to it like a fish to water. Honestly, the only thing lessening it is the strange lack of guilt whenever your mind replays the sound of snapping neck. Even that you're starting to move past. What's the point on dwelling on it? If you can't even feel guilty about it, clearly you've done nothing wrong. Perhaps it's just a fundamental nature of what you are now. Perhaps you even consider draining a victim dry to see if it's the same. Who knows? Others certainly haven't given you any grief about it, even if they seem to be aware of something being up. Although, waking up with a rat butt over one eyeball and rat drool over the other eyeball is a bit odd, even for you.
Yeah, Pius would start to stretch and let in a yawn, and as he's doing that, the rat tail would go into his mouth, and he'd squeakers.
The rat will startle awake. Its little claws, like scratching at your skin, has suddenly bolts up and swarms around all over the place.
And Pius would rub his face and go, come on, buddy, you know these scars stay. I'm not like the normal vampire. And then Pius would let Squeakers climb into wherever the hell he goes, and he will get out of his bed, or out of the chair, and make his way upstairs.
You arrive upstairs. There's only 4 people in the room. Lucy is in one corner, working or playing on her laptop. Ashley and Olivia seem to be sitting near each other. Olivia doesn't really look too well. Hopefully your old pocket watch is keeping her mostly stable. And Alvin, what is Alvin doing?
I'm mostly just waiting for people to be ready for a meeting. So probably reading a paper or like checking up on local news.
Fair enough. Everyone else, Pius is now awake.
What's up, guys?
Good evening.
Evening.
How are you guys? Oh, Olivia, what's up?
She kind of heavily sighs because, like, having to run over the dream, like,
Do
now
you want me to
twice.
do it?
Oh, just give me
Yeah.
a big. Is it really bad? Give me a huge sigh. And if it's a little bit bad, just give me a little sigh.
It's a huge sigh.
I'm like, oh, geez, okay.
And kind of Olivia looks at Alvin pleading, like, can you just do it?
To summarize, Olivia's had a terrible premonition with her day sleep dreams. And we got some extra things we may want to look into to prevent whatever veiled reality her dreams seem to portend from happening. From what I gather, the main points is that she found herself devoid of individuals to find within her night sleep. The people are
Olivia's
gone, and they're all found ultimately in a conglomerate mass of flesh and bone and people.
Olivia's shaking her head. She feels like, well, she's shaking her head at you, and she's like, she pipes up. She's like, it's more than that, Alvin. It's more than that. there's something really dangerous happening. It's more than that.
The spotter probably performing a ritual. Something that we don't necessarily have intel right now on. But anyone who's got know-how of necromantic capabilities or rituals, looks over to Ashley, might be able to suss out the descriptors that Olivia could give.
That's an intense dream.
The Sabbat have been here before and they've done terrible things. Maybe there's record of some of the past historical atrocities they performed.
Do you think your dreams could be telling us that the Sabbat are amassing an army?
Or a giant flesh monster bent to eat every human being in this area, slaughter every kindred that doesn't agree with them. Yeah.
I mean, we gotta still go off of her perception. I mean, for instance, I have been having these reoccurring dreams where everything is dark and trees are just snapping over and over, and they're just falling. And I know they're trees because it's a loud snap, but I don't know what that means.
Well, it sounds like we need to find somebody in Kindred Society who is good at interpreting uh, visions. Because this is starting to get a little out of hand.
As you are having this conversation, a car pulls up outside the bagel, bringing attention to itself as it stops, and a well-dressed man will get out of the driver's seat to open one of the rear passenger doors. An exceptionally well-dressed and styled man steps out, giving the street and then the bagel a perusing stare. He has a scar of some variety, but it does little to detract from his visage. His eyes have a piercing quality to them. He waves off further assistance from his man and walks with a well-trained gait up to the door of the bagel, and gently raps his knuckles on the door.
I go to see who this is.
Do you open?
No, the door is currently closed and locked. I apologize, but we're currently closed.
I believe I have business with you tonight. Are you Mr. Valdric?
That I am.
Hmm. Pardon my manners. I am Sergei Francois Bibois. I did receive your note, provided you are in fact Mr. Valdric. I am the owner and domain holder of the club currently named Blue, yes? I would very much like to be focusing on other matters at this moment, but for reasons I'm sure you can understand. But when issues like this one pop up, experience has taught me they are best resolved as soon as possible, so that all parties may move on from them. Preferably with grace and elegance. I'm sure you agree, no?
Great. Alvin's gonna open the door.
Thank you. And he will step inside and give the building interior a once-over. Well, first, allow me to applaud you leaving your note as you did. It makes this much more bearable for us both. I require less grandstanding to put the fear of death or final death into you. It's not needed. We can solve this properly and politely, like gentlemen.
Alvin would
Pius
nod.
sees this and starts grinning.
Yes, your crime, if we wish to use the true words of it, was committed in ignorance, which I'm sad to say is far too common a thing I must deal with these nights. I'm even beginning to believe that knowledge of my domain being held there is not being disseminated as thoroughly as it should. In fact, I'm quite certain it is not. So fortunately for you, young one, you'll find that most of my anger or resentment your actions may have caused me is not something I direct at you. Still, I must be seen to do something when these things happen, lest I lose all credibility in my domain and the respect it should hold in the eyes of others. A keeping of face, yes? After which we can both move on about our business, depending on things, even grant you and your little bunch of coterie to feeding permissions, properly this time, at my place of business. That would be good for you, no?
Alvin would nod. So, what is it that we will owe you for our accidental trespassing?
And I have a few ideas of my own, but I am open to suggestions. After all, like I said, I do not particularly heavily blame you for yours for any of this, as I believe there are those at court who are attempting their oh so sly ways of getting back at me for other matters.
Trust me, I have half a mind in order to start inquiring as to the domain territory limitations for the rest of Seattle, after realizing that certain areas were not necessarily warned of previously, especially considering the delicate mix of independents and Camarilla-based individuals within the town.
Yes, I pay my tributes to your prince, but I do consider myself not a official part of the Camarilla. Though you will find me a fervent ally against the depredations of the Sabbat, I can assure you.
Alvin would nod once more.
They are bad for business, bad for more than that, bad for just simple, sweet unlife.
Something we can
What's...
agree on.
Hmm. Hmm.
That said, I'm more than happy to attempt to make amends. As you can understand, with the war on the up and rising, the intention was simply to make sure that everyone was topped off in the event that an engagement occurred.
Of course, a reasonable precaution, and I would gladly keep my doors open to you and yours, but... the matter. Well, the simplest way would probably be for us to consider you owing me a boon. I'd even be willing to limit it to just yourself, and not your entire coterie. If you seem to be the one in charge of them, it could be what's the word I'm looking for here? A sort of, out of here, I'm drawing a blank. Shoot. A figurative way of doing things, I suppose.
I'd be all
I
right with
have...
this.
Obviously, I would not do anything to cash in this boon in a manner that which would put you at any severe form of risk. That would be in bad taste. But, young up-and-coming kindreds to yourselves usually find ways of proving useful or at the very least helpful in all manner of situations. So shall we agree to a boon, perhaps restricted to a single, non-immediately obvious, non-immediately threatening task on your part, or sometime in the future?
I'd be willing to accept those terms. I've been known to lend my assistance here and there from time to time. I don't have a problem adding another assistance.
Perhaps if it even
Understand.
go on.
Understand. Our intentions are to do a little bit of nosing about, so we may have some. We may have to discuss the scheduling of whenever you decide to request said boon.
Oh, of course. I especially know, even given these nights in particular, that timing is everything. But for the moment, I'll put it on the notebook, and I will be forwarding it, of course, to the Harpy, who, as usual, keeps track of these things. That said, consider yourself, you and yours. I believe that your names are, well, Pius, and according to my information, Ashley and Olivia. Though I must profess, I don't know which of you is which.
Alvin will kind of, look to him and it's like, obviously, I'm Alvin. This here is Ashley. The one over there is Olivia. And to the back is Pius.
Well, consider yourselves, now and in the future, welcome at my establishment. Whether for passive entertainment, in hopes of better nights in the future, or for ensuring you get your share of blood.
Are
Thank
there
you.
any particular stipulations on your domain when it comes to Kindred feeding.
Well, the first and most obvious one I shouldn't even have to mention, but I will, not because I doubt your ability to suss it out, but because it bears stating that way there are no gray areas later. No killing on anything you feed. Can't have bodies popping up in the club. Threat to the masquerade and my own business. I would prefer if you were able to also restrain yourself from doing anything that would warrant immediate investigation. Beyond that, as long as it's nothing that's a threat to the masquerade, you may conduct yourself as you please. So long as you are treating my staff with a certain level of respect. You don't have to treat them as equals, but respected retainers is a good measure to hold them to. Now, according to one of those that work for me, you were there also asking questions about a certain something, yes?
Indeed, I was. It happened to be that your club was one of the last places that one of the missing persons of recent disappeared. Not more than a couple blocks from the sword marking in the streets left by the Sabbat.
Hmm. Yes. I have been expanding my recruitment of security personnel recently for obvious reasons.
My
But
curiosity was lying within whether or not your security system had necessarily picked up on any of the details of this person leaving.
do you have a picture or something else of probably proper description of this young lady?
Alvin would fetch a clipping from the newspaper and hand it over to Sergei.
Yes, I will see that this makes its way into the hands of one of my security personnel. I'll have them go through the footage. If anything, it might reveal a direction in which the Sabbat are approaching from. If nothing else, narrow down where they might be hiding.
That was at least my thought. If you do, in fact, need to contact me, Alvin will also slip him his number. I'm
Very
looking for
good.
leads, and I'm looking for ways in order to track these individuals down. While
A
the
reasonable
council
proposal.
has not necessarily made a statement on it, I'd like to see the Sabbat kicked out as soon as possible. Like you said, bad
Yes.
for business.
The council was quite busy last night. I was in attendance at a meeting as a invited guest, mainly because of how close the recent signs of their presence were to my business and domain. It was not a pleasant evening, not for any of us. Currently, information is the most desired medium of things right now. Everyone wants to know, everyone thinks they know something, and most of it is garbage.
A fair assessment.
I do believe if you are interested, though, it is typically more for the combative types, but I believe the sheriff is recruiting additional men, additional bully boys, as they are sometimes called.
Is that so?
Hmm.
Hmm. Well,
Typically, they're extra enforcers that aid the sheriff in performing his duties. Most of them are currently ghouls. There are only a few of the blood within that service at current.
well, it's still useful information to understand that Sheriff Victor is out and about collecting individuals ready for the cause.
Collecting or calling in favors, even. I believe he called in a favor that he had actually been sitting on for 20 years.
Shows you how serious this is.
Just so.
Well,
If that will be all, Mr. Valdric, I will be on my way and see what I can do about this camera footage. No?
it would be much appreciated. Your generosity is only known by your understanding.
Well, I appreciate your understanding in this matter as well. I'm sorry for any inconvenience on your part, but appearances need to be maintained, and I need to find out why the knowledge of my domain is not being disseminated properly. I have my suspicions, but court at play, court at play.
Here's to both our successes in the future.
Indeed. Have a good evening, Mr. Valdrick.
You as well.
And with that, Sergei Francois Bibois will take his leave.
And Alvin will close the door, and after he drives away, sit down and just slam his head on the table.
How bad?
There might be a dent.
I'm currently getting caught up on the background chatter while that was going on.
It's all good.
Oh, wait,
Poor
sorry, someone's
Alvin.
knocking at the door. Be right back.
Poor Alvin. Always got bullshit to clean up.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
So
There's
Alvin
some
smashes
days.
his head into the table.
Yep. There's some days that I miss just being a foot soldier.
Mm.
Can I just go back to working on machines? This would be fantastic.
Olivia pats Alvin's head. Wonder what shampoo he uses. He's got good hair.
All right. Sorry about that. Now that he's out of our hair. About this time, would you say it's like between like 11 and midnight?
It's probably around 11, yeah.
Okay. Ashley, Olivia, I might suggest that you two poke at your clans to see whether or not there's anything you can glean on your respective sides for rituals the Sabbat might take to make Olivia's nightmares a reality.
Olivia gets a look of constipation as she tries to access the Madness Network.
You don't have to do it right now.
One moment, guys.
It's too late. She's already constipated. I think Andrew just stepped back.
Yeah, he did.
In any case, sorry, back. Shoot, where was I? All right.
What about Pius? He has that stealth going on.
He does have stealth, but the sad thing is that even though I subtly mentioned the necromancy side of things, Alvin has no clue that he's got any abilities in that sphere.
I know, but I was thinking about him sneaking around the, sewers, listening for stuff, sending rats places, and...
Yeah.
Speaking of that, I must retreat to my den for a little bit.
Why?
Oh no, actually, I'll just.
I mean, you do have Alvin does have this meeting planned. Perhaps he intends to take you all with him.
I mentioned the plan yesterday.
Yeah. Yep.
But I mean, that's just Alvin's plan. Does Pius care enough to stay around?
Yes.
For now.
Yeah.
It's already begun.
Yep. So, Alvin looks at you. He's like, "You can head to your den after the meeting with the father if you want. I don't mind, but we did kind of schedule a meeting with him, and it would probably be good to take with you whatever information he's got about the La Sombra."
Oh, he was just gonna scuttle off and make his bond with Squeakers absolute.
You'll have to say 10 Hail Marys if you miss the meeting.
I'm coming. I'm coming
How
along.
long does it take in order to do the bonded thing? It shouldn't take too long, right?
I just gotta have it drink my blood.
Yep, he's got to have it drink his blood technically 3 times, but he keeps putting off or forgetting about it.
Okay. I
Yeah.
mean, yeah, as you go do that, I can hit Jim up and give him his, nightly supplement before taking off.
Oh no. Do you have any peanut butter?
Yeah, we got peanut butter for some of the bagel sandwiches.
All right. He walks over and dips his finger into the jar of peanut butter, and then shoves it into his pocket where Squeakers is, and just waits.
The question is, does this work because of the fact that it's being diluted with a different material?
He doesn't know.
It
He's
will,
just
yeah.
doing it.
Oh, okay.
It will. It absolutely will.
So if Alvin sees that this works, he's like, "Huh."
Tricking mortals into drinking blood by putting it in their drinks is a way to bind them, yes.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Alvin's gonna make a cup of coffee for good old Jim and leave it with him.
That's fucked up. All right,
No.
Alvin Cosby.
No. Jim already knows what he's getting into. This is
That's
just
true.
making it less apparent.
Yeah, he'll be bonded to you.
Yeah, this is just making it happen easier without it being like creepy.
Like, sir, this is some good coffee. You sexy man, make me some more of this.
Wow.
His attitude completely changes.
He does seem calmer as he drinks it, and the second stage of the blood bond does take effect, yes.
Okay. Thank you, Pius. I learned something new today.
Congratulations, you'll qualify for your something new when we get to experience.
Hooray!
Yeah.
Now, back to Olivia's constipation.
Yeah, see, she's trying to access that network, but she's not quite good at it.
They are in the giant, unending maze-like ballroom that is entirely non-Euclidean geometry, composed of entirely non-Euclidean brains, just like yours. Yeah, there's a scattering and ruffling of thought and feather and mix of things, but you don't get anything quite right now unless you're calling out to someone specifically.
You know what? I'm gonna bug Dr. Decidus about the bunion on my foot. Just kidding. I'm kidding.
Wow.
Ever since I turned like this foot, this little lump, it just keeps growing.
He would
wait,
probably be
no.
confused about how you have a bunion on a foot when your foot shouldn't be capable of growing bunions.
Sorry, it was just part of my bagel. It fell in my shoe.
A
No, this is a
defect
very
of
stale
eternity.
bagel now.
No, it's not.
No, it's not.
That's the everything bagel. It can never go stale.
Yeah,
There's
it is
Comes in
absolutely going stale.
Everything crouton.
Yeah, you made it wrong.
No, it's just, what Olivia hasn't noticed is that the bagel gets replaced every time she looks at it.
You fucking around with my bagel?
Every morning it's revitalized back to its freshness. Always ready for new secrets.
The one good deed that Alvin does every day for Olivia.
Well, that's very
Replaces
nice.
her
of
fresh
him.
bagel.
I need to catch him in the act. Well, he wakes up earlier than everybody.
Yep.
So she'll
Yeah,
never
yeah,
will.
but here's the thing: the one you have in your hand currently was partly smushed because of the way you were holding it in your nightmare-filled daydream dream sleep. So I doubt the current one you have was replaced.
Quick, call the doctor. He needs to fix my bagel.
It
In
just
any
so
case,
happens
are you all
I'm the
heading
bagel
off to?
doctor.
Are you all heading off to the church then?
Yes.
Yeah, I
Yes.
suppose.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Pius,
Yeah.
put your game face on.
All right, 1 second. Hang on. He starts wiggling his finger harder.
You
And
wiggle
then
it more
finger
than
harder?
once.
Yeah, I'm trying to get Squeakers to bite.
Oh, sorry. Sure. Why don't you just wait? You can't just prick your own finger with your claws and let him drink that way.
He'll feel bad. Squeakers is his friend. He needs to do it on his own.
Okay then. Well, eventually you'll get him to bite.
Yes. All right. There we go. Ouch. All right. Off to the thing.
Indeed. One moment.
That is so cute. I like that about Pius. Heck, it's a fucking church.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
Take me to church.
Alvin's gonna have to sing that as he's going into church now.
Sadly, it hasn't come out yet.
Nope.
Alvin's gonna sing something. Dance Monkey.
You arrive perhaps a few minutes before your scheduled appointment with Elio Vitale. The church is currently holding its night mass, or the last of a night mass, apparently. It's oddly late for one, but this church is a little strange.
Mm-hmm.
There is a familiar to three of you, face waiting to greet you. One Father Frank Griggs. Ah, I believe I remember you. You are here to speak with Father Vitale, yes?
Indeed, we are.
Very well. Follow me, please.
Absolutely.
Short order. Yes?
He's just saying yes.
In short order, you find yourself being escorted down some stairs into the catacombs beneath the building. The sound of procedures upstairs becomes more distant, and the sound of voices around the catacombs and what they're saying, becomes more apparent.
As we're traveling, Alvin would kind of look to Frank Griggs and, how are you holding up? How's the church holding up?
In what way do you mean? About the disappearances, perhaps? Well, certainly there's been a great deal of families in need of consolation. These nights, yes. Many
Alvin
gather to pray for their loved ones, or even those they haven't met. Father Vitale seems exceptionally concerned about this, though I don't exactly know why. Well, that's not to say that he wouldn't normally be concerned or caring. Father Vitale's always been particularly focused on the needs of his congregation. But something about this seems to be having him on edge.
I can understand. One of my employees seems to have lost one of their loved ones amidst these disappearances. This is my reasoning for asking. Just seeing how everyone in the community is overall taking the hit. It's not every day that we get this many.
Yes, let's hope it comes to an end soon.
I agree. There haven't happened to have been many in the ways of local officials coming in to check in on things, has there?
There were some last night, yes. I don't believe they were standard police, but Father Vitale seemed to think they had some sort of authority.
Private investigators, possibly.
Maybe, but I don't know. There seems to be something off about that one man.
What one man?
I don't know. 7 feet tall, looks like a mountain. Maybe Russian. I don't know.
Few scars here and there.
Just about, yes.
Understood.
The
Good
man
person.
he's describing is
Yeah,
obviously
it's the mount.
German.
Yeah. Well, I'll take no more of your time. Thank you.
And you are shown into a room where he leaves you. It's lit only by candles. Just like it was the last time you were here.
Mm-hmm.
And the only man in the room is one Elio Vitale. Ah, I'm sorry. I was not paying attention when you came in. Have you been waiting long?
Would look to his coterie. I think we only just arrived.
Ah, good. Good. However, before this conversation gets started, I believe someone was activating a merit that they can activate when they first meet someone.
Yes. Cold
You're
read.
activating Cold Read. How many willpower points, how many questions do you intend to ask?
3.
3.
Uh,
Out of character, I knew that, but I'm just walking it thrust through it so the others get the benefit of hearing it.
yeah, no problem.
Now, as a reminder of how Cold Read works, you can spend any number of willpower points that you have and ask any number of questions equal to those willpower points. I have the option to refuse to answer, in which case you get the willpower point for that particular question back. However, if I do answer, it must be truthful.
Mhm.
While the others may doubt your word or your intuition, you yourself know it to be the complete and total truth. So ask your questions as you see this man for the first time, who strangely puts you at ease just by his presence.
Let me get back to my thing. Hold on. Whoop.
Mm-hmm.
There you go. So willpower point 1 would be, what does Father Vitali know about the recent Sabbat movements in the city?
Not nearly enough, in his opinion. He knows they are here, but not specifically where. Or are they using their old strong points from their last time in the city? Or back when he was a member of the Sabbat? The prince's agents would have already located them. So he does know, or at least strongly suspect, that they are using new places.
Okay. Um, does Father Vitali know anything about the disappearances around the city?
Hmm. In terms of where they are going, or how many are actually the Sabbat? No. What they are going to be used for? Quite a bit. Blood dolls, typically with their eyes gouged out and hands and feet cut off. Perhaps sacrifices for some sort of Sabbat Rite, typically their blood festival celebrations. Ghouls, perhaps. And of course, there's always the use of shovelheads are likely. But there are worse fates, and he does know of them. Still, he believes part of the last one to be highly unlikely, as the knowledge and power to do so are scarce in these modern nights.
Hmm.
You skipped question 2. Do you wish to ask it, or?
Um, is it okay to switch the question, or do you want me to stick with that one?
I prepared an answer for that one, but you can ask another if you wish.
You know what? No, I want to go with the. Yeah, I'm gonna ask it. Never mind. Does Father Vitali have any Sabbat ties right now?
Hmm. None of the kind you're thinking of. Anyone he knew in the Sabbat would now almost certainly be seeking his final death. The Lasombra do not take well to traitors. They have gone to great lengths in the past to eliminate any that break from the sword, and Elio knows that they will be coming for him. It's only a matter of time.
Okay.
Sorry if not all of those were as impactful as you might have liked.
Oh no, that's perfectly fine. That settles any hidden
Yep.
manipulations or anything like that.
Of the kind you're worried about, yes.
Yeah.
That said, this is stuff that only Olivia knows in character, so the rest of you didn't hear any of that.
Mm-hmm.
I just kept it in this channel for the sake of the recording. In any case, forgive me, my thoughts are dispersed. Hmm. How may I help you? How may knowledge from times I regret be of service to you?
We're seeking to understand the Sombra a bit deeper than just the peripheral information that is known publicly to the Camarilla. To
Hmm.
arm ourselves a little better, it would appear that there may be ties to the city and that the individual who has recently placed a mark of sort of Cain in the streets may in fact be a Lasombra.
I know that a mark had been placed, but nothing that hinted at the origins of any individual that placed it. But you have evidence or suspicions?
Suspicions.
Hmm. Well, I could tell you a great deal, obviously. I assume you mean particularly about the discipline that those of my blood typically possess, that no others do.
That would be a good start. And then
Hmm.
possibly any other rituals that they may be up to, as there have been bits and pieces that seem to be missing from our understanding. And
Of
knowing what
course.
they're capable of ritualistically, not just as an individual vampire, but as a conglomerate group of
Ah, the Sabbat
magecraft.
in its entirety. Yes. Now we'll start with the beginning then. The discipline of shadow magic, or moving about the shadows, if you even want to call it the shadows, is obtenebration. And it does not actually use the shadows as you know them. It pulls on something else. Uh, the older ones call it the Abyss, with a capital A. Some sort of metaphysical shadow that's more than shadow. I try not to use those gifts much anymore. But at its most basic, it allows the manipulation of existing shadows infused with this abyss, then the generation of said shadows, which are inherently unnatural and typically silent all sound within them, or at least deafen it partly. They can even strangle the last gasp of air out of mortals if their constitution is not fortuitous enough. In fact, duels and monomancies between two Lasombra often seem like two separate shadow entities trying to, I guess, drown the other. It's an unsettling thing to watch. The most typical combat application is, of course, the arms of Ahriman. Think of them as large arms or tentacles, I suppose, of shadow. They are every bit as strong as one's own attachment to the abyss and can be foisted by the more typical applications of potence or celerity as if they were the vampire themselves. They can be quite dangerous, especially since a single Assombra can spawn more than one of them at a given time, each taking their own action, each attacking someone or the same thing. It's very, very dangerous. And while that is the limit of my own capabilities, I assure you that my sire, at the time when I was still a good and faithful member of the Sword, did school me on most of the rest of the more readily available abilities, typically involving personal self-transmutation into some sort of shadowy beast, or just outright becoming a part of the abyss yourself and moving about like a thin, snaking, liquid-like shadow. Hmm. If you ever see such a thing, I assure you fire and sunlight will work just as well on it. Perhaps more so. But obviously, those same things would apply to you as well. But it's interesting that you bring up rituals, because those of my clan, there do exist certain mystics so thoroughly devoted to, well, the abyss, that they can twist it in ways others cannot. I am not overly familiar with it or its intricacies, but I know some of the more typical uses of it involve granting one's ability to see through the dark, which is fairly mundane, to be honest, as a vampire, or the ability to use your arms of airmen to feed from targets and victims, string them alive through the very shadow you control. There are rumors of being able to summon horrific monstrosities from the abyss, like actual living entities composed of its essence. And some mystics even go so far as to draw the abyss itself into entire areas. Oubliettes, I believe they call them, after those nightmarish jail cells from the Middle Ages and earlier. An area in which only they can see, only they can hear, or sense, or smell, but sometimes drag unwilling victims into for their own studies, amusements. Hell, when I was in the sword, there were a great many of inhuman monsters. And I do mean inhuman. The ways of thinking so vastly different from what you or I are used to as to not be called anything remotely relating to humanity anymore. Fortunately, abyss mystics are relatively rare. It takes an exceptional amount of extra devotion to pursue that path. Sorry, is there any questions?
Going to allow the baton to go to the coterie members first.
Crickets,
I'm
crickets from
not
one
good
of
at
you.
I'm not good at questions. I drop the ball on those every time.
Crickets, crickets, crickets. I don't think they're going to say anything, Xena.
Olivia?
Steph, Anna?
I'm still here. I think Steph died though.
Oh, my microphone was off the whole time. I didn't realize that.
There we go.
I
My
mean,
bad.
I'd
Does Olivia
love to
have
hear.
questions?
I don't know, like, a part of me wants to like mention the dream to him to see if he has any insight on it, but then I'm just not sure if I should.
Well, let me just go ahead and reiterate. He does have a certain merit. This merit is called sanctity, in which you, rightfully or otherwise, do believe to have a certain merit of trustworthiness in this individual.
Well, that's rude.
I would love for our occult expert in training to also, poke and prod possibly.
hmm
I think I'm gonna have Olivia ask him if he has any insight on her dream.
Sure.
Are you going to tell him your dream?
Yes.
He listens with all the patience of a priest that has heard many horrific things in one confession or another. Although obviously in this case you're not a guilty party. Eventually, as it goes on longer and farther, his face, his expression, it darkens considerably. It grimaces, frowns. Tell me, have you had foretellings before?
Um, I had one before this one.
Did it come true at all?
Some of it did.
Hmm. It was, for time at least, rather quite hoping that would not be the case. What do you know of the other clan that makes up a fair-sized portion of the Sabbat, alongside that of Clan Lasombra?
Do you speak of Giovanni?
The Giovanni are no members of clans are no members of the sect of Sabat.
Hekate, or whatever they're called.
What?
The Hakat, or whatever they're called.
Mm-mm.
Hekate are a V5 thing and do not exist currently.
Okay.
This I can't pronounce the damn name, but it starts with a T.
Oh, it's the
Says
Dragon Clan.
Samichi.
yes,
Tizmishi.
that one. Thank you.
Tizmishi.
Uh,
Does anyone want to say Tizmishi here? Okay, yeah, well, anyway,
Just say Ashley did because I
yes.
don't know how to pronounce
The
it.
Tizmishi. The Tizmishi. They are, at least in their modern knight equivalents, capable of quite horrific things, but their specialty lies in a discipline called vicissitude. It is crafting of the flesh and bone. Now, typically, they will use these gifts on their ghouls and servitors to augment them, make them tougher, faster, stronger, just more weapons of war. In the process, makes them completely inhuman, but they gain the benefit of loyalty because these ghouls can never return to mortal society again. So they're stuck there. However, that what you were describing in your dream was was not a Shlakta, as they are sometimes called. It was is could be another war ghoul, one that harkens back to ancient times, when the great elders of the clan made war on each other and their neighbors. Living siege engines, where they would take a certain number of ghouls, anywhere from 4 to, well, I believe the highest was several dozen, and over the course of time, feed them, infuse them. They would graft them together in horrific, despicable creations, composed of all the flesh and bone mass of their constituent bodies. Great living siege engines of horrific description. The power and ability to create these things is so very limited in modern knights, and for that we should all be grateful. Further still, most would not risk their making, as they would attract far too much attention. They are called the Vozd, and they are the living siege engines of Clan Tizmishi, typically taking many bodies and a month or more to actually create, though I do have heard legends of them being able to be made in... Really, Derek? That you're going to do this now? Right, okay, yeah, sure. Anyway, I have heard legends and tellings of them being able to do it significantly faster, provided they have the excess bodies. But I had hoped that none that were capable of that craft, at least to that level, were present in Seattle. I had been almost certain of it, even, just by the sheer impossibility of it. But if your dreams are prophetic in nature, well, maybe there's a reason they're gathering so many people. And if so, whatever is going on, it should be put to an end to soon, or we're going to be having to deal with it. By we, I mean the city and the helpless mortals in the city. These things can be quite devastating. They're usually slow, but the terror and the raw strength and the sheer durability is... Well, I've seen one once before, and it was only composed of 6. And I don't mean to discredit you, child of Malkath, But I do hope that in this case you are wrong. Forgive me for saying so.
That's you and me both, buddy. I meant father.
It's no harm to me in this case. But hmm, I wish I could contribute more in saying where and when such things might occur, or where the Sabbat are now, so that they could be expunged, but I don't know. All I have here is myself, bound from leaving more than a block from this church, and those who take up shelter in my prison, for lack of a better word. Those that would either be chased from the city, or would otherwise be potentially hunted down. Not for any great crime, mind you, but for their lack of purity of blood. The older ones tend not to take kindly to the thin bloods. Harbingers of the end times, they call it.
Do you know anyone that could help us?
If you wanted to try to convince them to help you, you could try, but I doubt it. They've spent far too long being chased around from one end to the other. And of course, there are others here that are neither, typically a sort of sanctuary from other outside forces. And I'm not just talking about vampires. I have hosted all manner of oddities here in the last 5 years. But you were wanting to know about the Sabbat and their capabilities. They'll
Yes.
be beyond the flesh crafting and the obtenebration and the mysticism. There are other forms of sorcery in the Sabbat, though it is not as plentiful as in the Camarilla, as they have no great number of blood mages, though the ones they have tend to be fairly potent. And even their necromancers tend not to be very numerous either. I've heard rumors of the Harbingers of the Skulls. I don't know their origins, but they tend not to live on this side. They tend to live on the other side. I don't know the term, but it's the realm of the wraiths.
The Shadowlands?
Yes, I think that's it. As for other gifts, well, they are mainly made up of members of other clans, perhaps those more typically associated with the Camarilla, that, for one reason or another, are with the Sabbat, either of their own choosing or because they were embraced into it and raised on that hefty brew of indoctrination. So any manner of power you might find in the Camarilla, you could also find in the Sabbat, with the notable additions of obtenebrations, vicissitude, and other crafts besides. Is there any question I might answer?
You, other than you guys, is there anyone else you could suggest that would help us?
Hmm.
That would maybe have more ties to the Sabbat?
I assure you, anyone that I knew that had ties to the Sabbat currently wants me dead. So that would be impractical, to say the least. But
Oh,
there are a few that may wish to stand against the Sabbat, though convincing them is practically impossible. But I've also been somewhat sworn or given my word not to reveal their true identities anyway. So I will speak no further of them.
Do you happen to know anyone within circles of the Kindred Society that might be able to direct young Olivia here with her oracular capabilities?
Hmm.
someone possibly a little bit more in tune with the ritualistic side of the Sabbat.
I'm afraid that my knowledge of those who would be experts on the many myriad forms of gifts or curses that the children of Malkav face is not a plentiful list. There is one I could seek out if they are even awake at this time, but convincing them would be the hard part, and it would not be an immediate thing. As to knowing someone that is currently active, I'm afraid not.
Well, sorry, Olivia. Tried there, so.
That's okay. I'll just go into a psychic shop and see what they can get me.
Ooh. More stones?
Crystals for days. What are blood dolls?
Blood dolls is a slang term for those that are regularly fed upon. Typically, in Camarilla society, these mean for lack of a better term, herd that you might regularly feed from to the point where they gain a certain addiction to the kiss.
Oh.
Now, for the Sabbat, they don't care about any sort of lingering humanity in their hunt, and so when they need to keep blood readily available, it just generally involves chaining down as many mortals as they can get away with inside their warrens and havens and other places, typically ensuring they cannot escape by removing their eyes and possibly their hands and feet. Doing so does not limit the blood in the body all that much, and effectively makes them complete and helpless captives, just there for whenever they want to be fed from.
That's a horrific fate.
It is. And yet one more reason why I'm ashamed to have once been a part of it.
How did you come to be under the Camarilla?
I'm not a member of the Camarilla either, child. I am, at best, an autarchus, an independent, whose presence is only allowed or suffered by the prince because of, well, numerous things. If I ever step more than a block from this building, I will be killed pretty much the same night. It is the term to which I agreed in order to stay here and forsake my former life in the Sabbat.
Oh.
Hmm. As to what happened, well, I suppose you could say I found God, for lack of a better word.
Now that's irony.
Hmm. Yes, a lifetime of faking being a priest, only to be genuinely brought into the fold by someone you didn't expect.
You want to be an offspring of a forsaken child of God.
Forsaken is a strong word.
Hmm.
But I get the sense you don't actually wish me to preach to you about that.
No, 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 no. Trust me. I've had a lot of, and then he air quotes, mothers drilled the words of God into me.
I get the sense that in your case, it may not have been an entirely accurate representation.
Sure.
But I will respect your wishes. Is there anything further I can do for you?
Yeah. If you were stuck in a dream, how would you go about getting out of it?
What do you mean? If you were to have another prophetic nightmare like before?
Uh, just like, I'm not sure how to explain it. Let's just, I guess say you were stuck in a dream and it just kept dragging on and you just never woke up. Like, how would you get out of that?
Hmm. I assume that this is, well, not just simply ask you to pinch yourself and wake up.
No, I've tried that. I've tried many things. I even jumped off of Alvin's bagel counter to try and wake myself up. That didn't have help. I broke a table.
That's what happened to that?
No.
Look, you gotta not break things. Joshua's gonna be livid. He's already got so many things to fix.
Ah, I see. You believe yourself to be sleeping even now.
Yes?
His eyes don't judge you. In fact, there's a certain level of compassion in them. I wish I could help you. I'm afraid solace from that which ails you is not something I am capable of giving.
Okay.
And the child
Thanks.
here of Malkav all have their own, well, individual curse, for lack of a better word. Unless I missed my guess, this seems to be yours.
Class would lean in, head put his elbow on Olivia's shoulder and say, "We have our own little dream child." And then he does the little spirit fingers.
I like it.
Hmm.
That kind of that makes Olivia kind of smile.
Mhm. Father Vitale will put a hand on your shoulder briefly. I'm sorry I cannot give you the solace you seek,
Hmm.
especially when your mind is already so troubled with everything else.
She nods and, you know, says, thank you to him.
I will see what I can do about speaking to that individual, but I make no promises. And his eyes seem to rove over each of you in turn and then linger on Ashley, but he doesn't say anything. And turns around once more, face the statue of Mary. Is there anything else I can help you with?
I'm good on questions. If anyone, unless anyone else has some.
Anna, do you have any?
Mm, she probably just I don't know if he knows anything about Giovanni. She might ask him about that.
Go for it. That's why we're here, learning things. And we haven't heard from you for most of session, so
Yeah.
please.
Spill it.
Um, yeah, Ashley.
Poor
Put
Anna.
on the spot.
Yeah, I'm always on the spot. Yeah, she'll just say,
You're a
yeah,
mom, that's kind of part of being a mom, I guess.
yeah. But yeah, she'll ask Father Vitale if he has any information about Giovanni or Lucio specifically.
Oh, yeah.
I was aware that the Giovanni had made a return to the city, but I'm afraid I know precious little about them beyond their penchant for necromancy and certain fouler sins. Hmm. Actually, there is one thing you would note, since you can see the Wraith now. The Wraith is not in this building, or at least not down here in the catacombs.
Ooh, nice.
Well, that's helpful. Would you happen to know how to, or have the ability to get rid of a wraith?
Hmm. A Wraith? No, I'm afraid not.
Damn.
Manipulation of those who linger after their death is not a craft I possess nor ever wish to possess.
Well, convenient he's not here now, but
Are you being haunted?
currently, for the last couple days that I know of, yes.
And you were asking about the Giovanni a moment ago. Is this their handiwork?
We suspect it is.
Hmm.
I recently found out that I had two sires after me while I was still human. And it seems the Giovanni was the
Ah.
other one.
Ah. Hmm.
And now they're pissed.
Hmm.
And you say it's not down here.
No, actually, it's not.
Odd. Do
The
you
only.
know when it stopped following you?
I don't believe I do.
You would actually. You stopped seeing it when you first started coming down the stairs into the catacombs.
Hmm. Then, yeah, she'd say that.
Hmm. Hmm. Odd. I don't know what to make of that, but you should take care of yourself. And I realize it sounds perhaps odd coming from me, or perhaps dismissive even, but you should. You seem particularly kind, perhaps, for one of your blood.
I will do the best I can. I just want to protect my friends.
Protecting one's friends is a virtue, and I know certain people would agree with that, even if they do have unpleasant history with Clan Tremere. If that will be all, I hope all of you have a safe evening. There's trouble brewing, and given recent information, particularly quite particularly quite terrible trouble.
Oven would not.
Well, if war ever breaks out, I hope to see you out there.
He said he couldn't leave the building.
Oh well.
Mhm. I'm sure it will find me here soon enough. They will come for me in time. They can't allow me to continue on living while I, well, don't follow the sword.
Have we asked about the sword? The Cane of Sword from him?
The Sword of Cain.
Yeah, Sword of King. My bad, I knew I said that
Sword.
wrong.
The
That
Sword of Cain is another like a way to is another name for the Sabbat, just like the Ivory Tower is another name for the Camarilla.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
so
It's
basically
not.
it's just their
Mhm.
insignia. It's not anything like particularly
Yeah,
like okay, all right, cool. I mean,
like the
it's still a
Ankh
good
is like the
question.
Ankh is the Ankh is the symbol of the Camarilla, for
Yep.
Isn't
instance.
there actually a sword of Cain though? Like Cain's
Not
sword?
in this setting.
Okay. The one that he slayed his brother with.
He killed his brother with a rock.
Oh yeah. Do you love
Yeah,
me
the
now?
the biblical one, yeah.
Well, guess what? This is the biblical one because Old World of Darkness is absolutely Abrahamic based.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
Which I actually
Because
kind
there
of
are
really love.
actual Demon the Fallen is actually one of the splats in the World of Darkness.
Nice.
And the Cain of Vampire is the Cain of the Bible, just, with World of Darkness lore. So literally, one of
Does,
the sons of the first man and woman, or second woman, or third woman, depending on what your lore is.
does Father Vitale have a rosary that Olivia can have? Or anything like that?
Sure, actually, if you ask for one.
Father Vitale,
Yes, child.
do you have a rosary I could probably take with me?
Hmm. Of course. he will lift one from within his coat. And for a moment, just a moment, as he's holding it, like that, there's something about it that holds you still for just the slightest moment. You couldn't move forward if you tried, but then he puts it in his palm and holds it out for you to take. That is an odd feeling, considering that crosses should not have any effect on you.
She,
But now,
oh,
the way
sorry.
he's holding it, you can go ahead and take it.
She, hesitantly takes it and puts it in her coat pocket.
The sense of power it had when he holds it fades, but it is still there for you.
What is that?
What is what?
I, I just got a weird feeling when I picked up uh, when you held out the rosary.
Hmm. Perhaps I'm not as forsaken as I once thought. That's remarkably reassuring.
If that's the case, then do you have any vials of holy water on you?
I'm afraid it wouldn't work like that. Though I wouldn't expect you to have even thought of that, considering that it's
Well,
not a common thing to
technically, do you
think of.
have tainted holy water on you?
It would do nothing more than regular water, I'm afraid.
Oh, I don't need it for harm.
Then why do you want holy... Wait, tainted holy... Why do you want tainted holy water?
Nah.
His eyes narrow at you. There's suspicion there. Hmm.
Wait,
Perhaps it would be best for you and yours to return to your abode, yes?
yeah.
I think we've spent a good portion of the father's time this evening. Why don't you three head up and lead on up to the car, double check whether or not the spirit's there. I got one last thing I want to ask the father, just in case.
Okay. Olivia thanks Father Vitale before going up the stairs and says bye.
Mm-hmm.
Ashley
Pious,
will bow and then follow up.
yeah, Pious would do the same. He'd do a bow.
Go ahead. Ask.
You had a look and a curious reaction. He's been acting strange lately. I don't exactly know what he's been up to. But I said I wouldn't pry too much, but you seem to have some sort of thought going on.
I do.
What do you suspect?
If he had just been asking for the holy water, I assumed he meant some sort of weapon, but even if I do still retain some, or have been granted some measure of faith, it would not work unless I was the one using it. But then he specified tainted holy water. And while I am no expert in blood sorcery or necromancy or any other sort of mysticism, I swear I've heard of rituals or powers that utilize that as part of their requirement.
So, some sort of material component for.
A ritual of some kind, yes.
Okay. Hmm. Alright then.
Where would he find a teacher for that, though? Most of those sorts of abilities tend to guard their secrets well, and Nosferatu aren't those with that sort of secrets, usually.
I honestly couldn't tell you. I'm still learning quite a bit about the walks of information that come from each of the different clans myself. Hence tonight's meeting.
Hmm.
But this at least has opened up a door that wasn't available before. Well, I wasn't planning on pressing him for much in the ways of certain extents of his activities. I'm gonna keep a more vigilant eye just in case.
Hmm. There does seem to be something off about him. It's vague, and I can't place my finger on it. I only met him once before, after all. But there does seem to be something different there.
He's been a bit more callous as of recent.
That is usually a sign of a slipping grasp on humanity. Has he been waking up later as well?
He has.
That almost confirms it, then. If you care
Um,
for him, you might wish to, hmm, be there for him.
well, that's all I try to do. Hmm.
I, if we don't get to meet again, I'm glad to have met you, child. I have some more hope for the city now.
Thank you. That means actually quite a bit. I do hope we get to see each other once more in the future, and that your premonition of your eventual assault doesn't come to pass. But if something does happen, feel free to send a call.
I will, but only if I think it's a fight you could win. I would never ask someone else to die for me. There's already been one that has done that, and that is all I need.
Even if not to die, then to at least make sure that you are properly remembered or sought the justice that you deserve. I know that's probably not a common concept within these dark and dreary streets, but you're helping us and aren't really asking much in return. It's the least I could do as repayment.
Well, for what it's worth, I appreciate it. Go with God, Alvin Valdric.
And may he protect you. And it says that, Alvin will walk out.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. And you rejoin the others upstairs where the Wraith is waiting.
Watching the three kind of be silly goofballs and be adorable.
Pious ranting about not getting holy water. Ashley Solano stares down as she walks, mind filled with all the new information. Olivia Foster stares at the rosary, never one to be religious. She finds comfort in the symbol. With the pocket watch and the rosary, Olivia finds a semblance of comfort even if she is still filled with dread. A new worry arose. What did Pius need tainted holy water for? Pius! Pius puts his hand on Olivia's shoulder and gives her a smile with a peace sign, then rubs her head and places his hands back in his pockets and reforms back into his sluggish walk.
Oh, I
That
didn't
is how
see
you
that.
find them. That is how you find them, Zeno.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, a forming family.
All right, we have the rest of the night to us. Bias, did you have something you wanted to do? Ashley, what you?
There is one thing I want to do, but I'm going to wait for them to answer first.
Where would be the nearest graveyard?
What do you need a graveyard for?
I want to visit someone.
Hmm. Would Alvin happen to know that answer?
Oh yeah, there are several graveyards in the city.
Mm-hmm.
But if he's wanting to visit someone, perhaps there's a particular grave he wishes to visit.
Out of character, no. It's just his excuse to get to a
I'm
graveyard.
aware. I'm aware. I'm not dumb. Hmm.
What about you, Ashley?
Currently, just waiting on my sire to give me a call back and give me some books that he has. go over some information that he seems to be withholding.
What about you, Olivia?
Oh yes, because he couldn't send it to you immediately while he was in the surgery.
That, and then there's also he has to give her all of his information on her family too.
Oh right, that I actually forgot about that out of character. That's my bad. That one is on me, not Dr. Thornton.
Alvin will look to Olivia and go, "How about you?"
Oh, I want to see Ashley's ring.
Ashley will
Ashley's ring. Huh?
lift her hand and kind of look at it. It's like, my ring. I mean,
Uh,
yeah, just
it's
you got to give it
very.
back.
I know. It's very pretty. And can I use spirit touch on that?
Let me look up what Spirit Touch does again.
Okay.
It's kind of like object read from Pathfinder, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, but it's it usually tells you stuff about the person that last held it, which you can easily glean when that last person that held it is right in front of you.
Oh, that's her hun.
Yeah. Just the last owners, blah 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 blah. You have to get 5+ to know about anything for a preceding owner before that.
Can I still try for that 5+?
You could actually, because you could get
Yes.
doubles, and then you could add a willpower to like secure a plus to it.
It would be you're trying to get something past a certain age. So let me see. Century ago would be a 9. Hours ago would be a 4. So probably difficulty 7. Perception, empathy. There's no blood cost though, so yay.
Hold on, I want to look up something real quick before we do anything. Let's see. Nope,
Wait.
that won't work. Okay.
Question.
What?
He said that it's what an empathy?
Perception,
Perception.
empathy.
Can she spend blood in order to add to her perception?
Nope. You can only spend blood to add to physical stats. And the physical stats are considered
Oh.
strength, dexterity,
Yep.
and stamina.
Okay. Darn.
That is one of the
Sorry.
differences between older editions and V5.
I tried to help you there, Steph.
That's okay. So perception, empathy, difficulty 7. I do want to spend a willpower point just to try.
Okay.
Fingers crossed.
Ugh, why does it always do that? Really? Just a 1?
Nope.
Never mind.
Nope. And you get information that you could tell just by looking at the person in front of you. That they're a girl and that they have black hair.
That's some bullshit. She got robbed by those 2 ones.
Yeah, that Andrew, that doesn't exist. I'm sorry. We gotta roll again.
I want to spend all of my willpower to make those ones disappear. Because she would have gotten it without him.
What's it say? Oh, I would. Damn.
Call them 4s.
Yeah. I just wanted to see if it would have been a higher number. That obviously that doesn't count. Fuckers.
Damn. Right. Would have been so good.
But Ashley, where'd you get the promise ring? Or the emerald ring? Promise ring.
It was given to me by my well, I guess he'd be my ex now, but yeah, my ex-boyfriend when I was human still.
Oh. What was his name?
Pause. I forgot.
Do you need me to give it to you?
Yes.
Connor?
Connor
Wasn't it-
Higgins.
There we go. His name was Connor Higgins.
You're gonna have to tell me how you guys met and the history of them.
We
I'm very curious to know.
we met in school. after I first started in Seattle. I didn't have a lot of friends, and he seemed to take an interest in me.
Yeah. You want to have a girls' night one night and just girl out on all the stories?
Um, we can if you want to.
There's no pressure.
I would have to
Uh,
get permission, of course, because I'm not allowed
Oh,
to stay out overnight.
well,
And you can't come to my place.
Tell dad I don't have a penis, so you're not gonna get pregnant.
How about this, ladies? You pick the destination, and I can drop you guys off. And then me and Pius can go hit up the graveyard.
Any places that Ashley's allowed to go that her sire's not gonna ground her for?
I can even
Um,
drop you off at a library, or hell,
I
Olivia, if
mean,
you'd
no
like.
library is going to be open this late, unfortunately. It's after midnight at this point.
Hell,
But
Olivia, if you'd like, I could drop you off at your mom's diner.
Uh, uh, yeah, sure.
yay, we're going there.
I said I could, not that we are. I'm looking to Olivia and Ashley to see where they would like to go for their girls' night. As it seems that Steph has an idea for a little bit of a scene slash, chat with Ashley.
You know what?
Mhm.
Yeah, I'll take her to the Devil's Footstool. I know they've been there before, but we'll go
Alrighty,
to.
to the Devil's Footstool.
I'll go ahead and drop them off there, and then Alvin and Pius will drive off to
A
the a
graveyard.
graveyard.
Wherever Pius is telling you to go, I guess.
Hmm.
You're
There we
muted.
go.
It'll just be Alvin and Pius then?
Yep.
Yep.
Oh man, our thing's going to spill for you.
I'm on your game now, buddy.
Yep, yep, yep. So let's start with the girls because Anna and
Uh-huh.
Ashley, but I haven't gotten a lot to say tonight. So
Yep. Yep. I
Mhm.
want this. I want the girls to go and talk and have fun.
I want to
your
know.
mom isn't here for right now though. However, let me see if I can find.
I think her name
Oh, I
was.
can't.
Wasn't her name Lily?
The ghoul.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Isn't
just
Lily
can't seem to.
here?
I'm trying to find her, but I'm not seeing her.
I think she. Because I know you posted it in mine and also general chat.
Yeah, yeah. I know I had a ghoul for her, but
Nope,
I'm
that
not sure. Maybe
is.
maybe I just never got around to making a handout for it.
I don't think you did. You never. You never did.
Ah, darn it. No, now I feel bad.
Oh, she's
Oh well.
far up into the general chat. Oh.
Yeah, she's gonna be far back, but yeah, she will
Anyway,
be greeted by bubblegum popping Lily, who is just boredly sitting at a counter and waves you on down to the basement, which
Olivia,
is
wait.
the normal neon hell that it normally is. There are no guests here at present.
Olivia waves and takes Ashley's hand and leads her down to the bar area of the Devil Footstool.
The neon lights are so bright.
Uh,
There is
hopefully,
a note waiting on the counter though.
uh, Olivia goes to take a look at it.
It's addressed to Olivia. Now,
She puts a cup over it and pretends it's not. No, I'm kidding.
mhm.
What's it
You
say?
pick it up.
Yeah, she picks it up.
There's a slight clatter of clang and soft metal underneath it. Underneath it, there appears to be a key of some variety. And on it, like, hmm, hey, sweetie, just wanted to let you know, in case you came back here, I kind of had a feeling you'd come back here, by the way. Hope it's not too creepy. But your bike's done. It's upstairs. It's out back. It's in the side garage where I normally keep my cars. Just enough space to squeeze yours in. Have fun. Gotta go. Bye.
Olivia kind of squeals and uh but she's not here for the bike right now. She'll do that later and turns her attention back to Ashley and just kind of says, I got my bike."
Congrats. Yeah, that's awesome.
And then Olivia goes, "Okay, well, have a seat anywhere. I want to know all about this Connor, and I want to know what's up with the ring."
Ashley will sit down on top of a table, cross-legged, throw her bag next to her, and just sit there and stare. Um, what do you want to know? I guess start asking questions. And
Well, first I want to say you don't have to be pressured to talk about anything. So if you don't want to answer something or talk about something, you're perfectly fine to say that. But I guess, I guess how did you guys meet? You said that you came to Seattle and he was kind of the first person, like, I guess you made friends with or connection with?
he was the only person I made friends with ever. Um, before you guys,
Oh,
I've been pretty sheltered my entire life. Um, my my uncle kind of, well, I started out in North Carolina when I was really, really little, and I just ended up here after, God, I don't know. I think I was 15 when we moved here.
yeah. What was the sudden move for?
We moved a lot. It wasn't just once. The good 10, 12, 13 times we moved. I never really understood why we moved. He never told me. It was just one day he'd be like, "All right, we're moving," and we were gone. I didn't really go to public school, so it wasn't a big issue. It wasn't until Seattle that I went to public school, although I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, it's been very, I don't know, weird. My uncle was very weird, very protective, but not in like a Dr. Thorne's protective, more like you do as I say, and that's just that.
I see. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
That had to been rough.
I didn't know any better until I met Connor. That's kind of how things changed, and our relationship got really bad.
You and your uncle, or?
Yeah, he did not like Connor. He was a bit of a rebel.
Yeah,
He got me into smoking and partying and disappearing nights on end. Spent a lot of time out in Lake Ridge Park behind my house where he couldn't find me.
I see. I mean, I'm sorry that you had a uncle so strict. Whatever happened to Connor? Is he still around, or?
I don't know what happened to him. We had an argument near the end of my senior year and told him to leave, and he never came back.
I'm so sorry. Do you miss him?
Oh, every day, but it's not gonna bring him back. It's almost like he just never existed.
That's really sad.
It's the main reason why I keep the ring because it's the only thing I have left that even proves he was a person.
Why did he give you the ring, or?
He promised we'd leave once we both came of age and I got out of school because I did not want to drop out. Although he didn't care if he did or not.
I'm sorry, Ashley.
It's in the past now. Haven't lived that life in nearly 5 years.
I know, it's still sad though. I mean, do you ever kind of wish you could go back in time and just run away with them before 18?
Some days. This isn't quite the life I expected to be living at almost 25.
Yeah, I'm really sorry, hon.
Eh, there's not much you can do about it. My fate was sealed without me even knowing it.
Now, Olivia kind of re. Is there alcohol down here?
Absolutely.
All right. Olivia's gonna reach over or find wherever the alcohol is, and even though they can't really feel it, whatever, she still pours one for Ashley and kind of slides it to her and pours one for herself. A Coke and rum, something like that.
And
Ashley
you
will
both have
take
the
it.
eat food merit, so y'all can at least enjoy it, even if you have to upcheck it later.
Yep.
Yeah. And Olivia kind of just puts it near her and says, I might not be able to do much, but I mean, here's a drink.
I appreciate it. I'm glad I can still enjoy the taste.
Yeah.
I think I would have been
Well,
sad if I couldn't ever have a drink or coffee ever again.
yeah.
Blood tastes so much better, though.
Oh, yeah.
Sure, crack cocaine. It's a heroin. Mm.
We can always put onesies on and watch something together.
You know for a
Um,
fact that Lyra has a whole walk-in closet of onesies.
Oh, Olivia's gonna walk over and just shove the door open and be like, ta-da!
that
All the
is,
colors you could want.
that's a lot of onesies.
Mm. 2/3 of them are various animal onesies.
I don't need a onesie. I am good. You can have
That's
a
fair.
onesie.
Nah, I'm good. Lyra always wants to put a onesie on and cuddle up and watch something while we end up passing out. Or, well, if you can call it that.
It's probably because you're her baby.
Maybe. I don't know.
Putting you in a onesie, cuddling you, watching movies. Sounds like mother daughter.
Yeah.
You're her baby.
Well, thank you for telling me a little bit about your past. I appreciate it, Ashley. I'm just sorry that it didn't go quite the way you wanted it.
Nothing ever goes according to plan.
Is your uncle still around?
Last I knew, he still lived in the house, but I can't keep track of him.
What's the address?
You. Why do you want the address?
I want to go know if he's there. We can take my bike.
Cross-country road trip for vampires incoming.
Cross city, not cross country.
Oh, sorry.
She lived
For
in
some reason,
Yeah.
I
Seattle.
was still on Carolina.
No. What'd you say in the at Lake Ridge?
She
They're
lived
not Lake Ridge.
right in front of, or next to Lake Ridge.
Okay. Yeah. But pretty much it's more down past that area. It's
It's down in
literally,
Rainier Beach area.
yeah. I don't think it's on this map.
Possibly not.
I don't think
Gee
so.
darn it.
It's even
Oh well.
farther south.
Yeah, it's way farther south.
Mm.
I checked it when I was reading your stuff to see where it was. But yeah, that's basically the only thing I know what to ask for Olivia. I'm not good at that stuff. But she does want to make a road trip to see if your uncle's still there. Not like go in the house or do
Just
anything,
like
but
bee stalker and peek in.
pretty much. Just curious. She wants to know more about Ashley.
I mean, we can go and see if he's still home. I don't. He.
How about maybe if we have time the next night, we go do that? Because
Sure.
I don't know if we really have time tonight. You said it was way after midnight, so
Not
I'm
way
trying.
after, but it's like one. Well, probably been now for y'all. It's like 1:30 or something.
Oh, okay. And I know it's getting closer to 9 p.m. over, or like end game.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I
but
would
anyway,
like to get
that's
in some of the Pius and Alvin scene later, but I've been letting y'all go because I haven't really had a chance to go. Well, I
yeah,
mean, Olivia has, but not Ashley.
yeah. So, Anna, if you have more stuff you want to talk about or say or whatever, go for it. I'm not sure what else to ask.
Mm, I think that's really it. There's
Okay.
not. Now it's the graveyard scene.
I don't have a graveyard, sadly. So,
That's okay.
Oh, you don't?
nope.
Steph might.
Well,
Hush.
I was doing stuff. I, I was doing stuff. Don't holler at me. I don't even know if
Make it.
this is the. If I can find it.
I'll just set the background to something spooky, and we'll go with that.
Spooky.
In any case, see, look at
Actually,
that. That's so flawed. It's clearly during the daytime.
I know I hate it. I'm sorry. That's all I could find.
Failed.
Like usual. All right, going
Y'all
silent.
have no idea how much work I have to put in sometimes finding the right picture that doesn't include daytime.
I
Let me
know.
ask you this. Have you tried going to AI generators for just atmospheric pictures?
No. In any case, Pius, Alvin, you're in the car on the way to a cemetery that Pius seems to be directing you to.
Mm-hmm. So, cemetery, huh? What are we gonna do when we get there?
I'm looking for a specific grave.
Is that so? Did it happen to be one of the two faces from that night?
No, no.
Out of character, of course it can't be, because those bodies are both still down in Lynette's pantry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're being preserved.
I see. So what's the unholy water for?
I'm trying to. Well, I guess I can somewhat tell you what I'm doing. I can't tell you who my teacher is, but I can tell you that I'm learning, I guess, more darker ways of the vampire world.
I had kind of a suspicion of that, but couldn't really say one way or the other. You've been getting up a little bit later, seeming a bit colder.
Yeah, I've
Didn't take
noticed
long to
noticed
figure
that.
out. Didn't take long to figure out what that might have implied based off of your hesitant response with the newspaper. I know I said I wouldn't pry, but evidence is stacking up, man.
Yeah, some I guess you know how Ashley has like her magics, and she has to do certain things to make her magics work. Well, I gotta
Hmm.
do things like that to make what I'm learning work. And to do that, sometimes I have to do what some would consider gross or bad things. But as you can see, then he points at his face. I'm a gross guy, so I'm gonna try and stomach through this. But
That
I feel like these things I'm gonna learn are gonna help us out with these Sabat.
I'm gonna hope so, but at that same point, I'm gonna give you a cautionary glance here. Let's make sure that whatever ends up as assisting your teachings and your learnings into this darker side of empiric society doesn't end up involving people that don't necessarily deserve it.
Yes. That's the hard part.
Shit bags are fine. Don't care. But let's try to keep some of the goodness on the streets so that way we're not, mucking through bullshit every night.
I'll do my best.
And if things get out of hand, talk to me.
Yeah, for sure.
I won't
That's
tell the
why we're going
girls
to the
unless.
cemetery together right now.
All right. I won't tell the girls unless you tell me to. But I feel like somebody's gonna keep an eye on this, at least to a certain degree. Based off of context clues, I'm guessing that whoever this teacher is actually out of your own clan. Doesn't
Who
happen to
knows?
have any connection to this Sabat plot, do they?
Who knows? These are all questions that I can't answer.
What I'm getting at, Pius, is that once we're done with your little trick here at the graveyard, this teacher of yours, if they've got the ability to answer questions about what the Sabbat might be up to, about how they might traipse about the city using untold horrors, they can be used as a source of information. You have that in. That could be helpful.
Yes, they could be of great use to us. They're pretty old.
Good to know.
They've been around for a long, long time.
Figured.
And Pius would look towards the floor because he kind of started looking at the severity of what he's doing.
Uh, Guessing they're your type?
It's my type.
So, brooding and not very people friendly.
Yes.
Alright.
You probably
Clearly,
won't. Well, you might meet them at one point in time, but hopefully on good terms.
just make sure that whatever they are teaching you doesn't have this slip any further. The
Mm-hmm.
beast is a bit of a bitch to deal with when it gets a little too close to whatever that core of your essence is.
Well,
It's
we're gonna
one.
find out soon enough what I can do here.
Mhm.
But since you're with me and you've said you'd keep an eye on me, so we're gonna do this.
Oven nods. And they pull up to the graveyard.
All right. So I guess we would make our way through the graveyard. Pius would, I guess, just spot an out of place grave that seems just somewhat dilapidated and older. And he would look at
Mm,
Alvin and ask him for a shovel. I know he doesn't have one, but he's just gonna ask anyway. You got a shovel?
I knew we were digging up graves. I might have actually had the foresight to grab one. No,
Uh,
sorry.
all right.
Not.
And Pius leans down on all fours and starts dog shoveling.
that'll take a while.
Oh yeah. He wants to know if this will work.
Yep. However, I will warn you that this would count as intentional property damage,
Hmm.
which is a sin on the hierarchy of sins for humanity at Humanity 5.
Humanity 5.
You are currently at Humanity 5, so you would have to make a degeneration check here.
Okay. Degeneration check.
Is there any way that I might assist him with this to,
Nope.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to do this on my own.
You will only turn to the page on degeneration checks. But no, you would not. Degeneration checks are only really applicable by those that are making them.
Dang it. Where's my degeneration at?
1 moment.
Then
Just,
dice?
no, just give me a moment. I'll find it.
Okay.
Shoot. Variation is possible. Okay, yes. It's a conscience roll. Difficulty 8. It would be higher, but it's literally at your level of humanity, so there is no additional penalty. So that is a failure, but thankfully not a botch. Your humanity will drop to 4 as you bust open this grave and after digging your way down and taking a part of the body.
Yeah.
Hey, let me take my
Alvin,
humanity
you
down.
will maybe potentially have to. What's Alvin's humanity at?
I'm much higher than him.
Yep. But what's Alvin's humanity at?
I don't know.
Hmm.
Where did it?
How do you gain humanity back?
Either by doing great acts through roleplay, in which case I might decide to award you a point back if it's done over a long enough time, or you spend experience on it.
I'm on
Okay.
7.
You're on 7. Do you try and stop this at all?
I would definitely look at him like, you're really gonna dig up a grave. Can't we possibly go ask about, I don't know, somebody who's deceased recently? What do you even need out of there?
It has to be squishy, and he just gives him a weird look.
Net pious. Describe it better.
He needs a
Okay.
he
What
needs a
what what
raw, rotting corpse.
what does this what does your little experiment here require on a mechanical sense?
Okay, so I'm going to need something alive, so I can just like call upon a rat, not squeakers. Never hurt him.
I have no idea what you're going for now. I'll be honest.
I'm gonna try and attempt Thanatos' Karis.
Oh, so you basically need to fall into a rotting corpse.
Yeah, it's gonna be so gross. But
So
I want to see what this means by I inflict the aging decomposition on a victim. Like I want to. Pius needs to see this happen.
so Pius explains that he needs to fall on a corpse that is actively rotting.
It's a squishy, gross corpse. Yeah, I gotta pretty much like. Because I assumed I had washed myself like upon waking up and all that, which
Mhm.
I didn't. But whatever.
Then why don't we go to, I don't know, a morgue or something?
I don't know if we'd be able to talk to a guy into just like, hey, you got any rotting corpses in this morgue I can belly flop into?
You do
One moment.
understand that you're
One
talking to
moment.
some.
I need to figure out something. That is like, what book is this in? I know which one you're going for here, but I need to figure out which book it is in. Let's see, Thanatos' Rights of the Blood. Oh, that's why it's not showing up. It's in the other book. Okay.
Alvin's gonna look at Pius and go, I can ask for someone to let us see such a body.
But what he's telling you is that he basically needs to ruin and desecrate the body, in a sense.
Yeah, they won't be getting this body back. It's gonna get gross.
Better than digging someone up and disrespecting a grave that's already been sent on its way. Also, probably would take way less time.
I mean, I think Pius has already dug the grave up.
I think that's what Andrew is allowing me to step in first.
Oh, okay.
Well, actually, I was about to make you have to do a humanity check if you were willingly going along with this, because your
Well, I
humanity
didn't
is
know what
higher.
was going on fully, so it's that's why I was confused. It's that's why I said, isn't there a way that Alvin could step in and help here kind of thing?
So would Pius be just in the process of digging it up while Elvin's trying to stop, or would he have already gotten a good way down?
Well, it's
Digging it
really the
up.
ritual itself that would count as, I guess, the thing, or at least performing it, because you basically are desecrating the body.
Yeah.
But
Okay, so
if he stops you before that and you agree to hold off, you can have your humanity back. But
okay,
if you do that ritual later tonight, it'll count as the same roll, in which case you will lose the humanity.
okay. Well, if he's gonna find a way to get to someone to let me do this to a body, which that'd be cool, then
He's offering to let you to see a rotting corpse, but not necessarily one you can desecrate. I think is the idea there.
oh, okay.
Alvin wants
My,
the specifics on your ritual so that way he knows what's going on.
Okay, so what I'm trying to do, Alvin, is I'm trying to at least have some type of defense for us that would work, you know, like a trump card for us in a dire situation. If I can bathe in the innards and the rotting flesh of a corpse, I can then pass on that corpse's decomposition to a target.
And do you have to
I'm
do
gonna
this?
show something in the general chat for you.
And do you have to do this every time you want to use this ability?
Yes.
How much of the actual stuff in that ritual are you telling him? Because and at this point you are basically locked in for that being your free level 2 ritual because you've gone this far with it.
Yeah, I'm gonna use Thanatos' Karis. I've thought about it. There was three of them that I was thinking hard about, but I think the Thanatos' Karis is what I'm gonna do.
Do note that you can only it's only good until the next sunrise.
Mm-hmm.
And putrefaction, let me go there. Yeah, that's Thanatosis. That's the Samiti discipline. Bloodlines, disciplines. I swear, if Lynette wasn't so well learned, I wouldn't let you have it. But yep. She is very, very well versed.
It's such a good
Or,
ritual, though.
have you even looked up what the putrefaction does?
What the feature faction?
The putrefaction. It's like the ritual basically lets you use the 2 dot power of a bloodline discipline.
The one that I'm looking at doesn't say anything about putrefaction.
I have Thanatos' Caress listed in general chat.
Let's see. For single use of putrefaction upon target. Let me go and read what putrefaction is. Because this one just says afterwards, a necromancer can
I have
inflict the decomposition of aging upon a simple touch. That's what I have on my wiki page that I'm reading.
Yeah, and that is based on in V20 at least. This is based on the putrefaction power of the Samiti, which I have also displayed in general.
Oh, okay, hang on. There we go. Okay. Hair falls out, teeth loosen, flesh rots, and fungus grows on the skin. This power works on targets living and undead. And it's obviously quite unsettling both physically and psychologically.
So it's not like uber damaging, but it is somewhat
It's
debilitating.
Yeah, it is definitely debilitating. And you know me as a player so far, I like my debilitating powers.
So,
Mhm.
yeah. So, how much do you tell Alvin about this ritual? So you say it's a superpower, and you say it'll help the party, but like, what else do you give about this?
I'm just gonna give Alvin the whole lowdown just because I need that backup. I'm just gonna be very transparent with Alvin.
You want something in which you can contribute to if there's combat.
Yes.
Alvin's going to point out the fact that we're not necessarily expecting combat tonight. 2, we didn't bring a shovel. 3, we could check a morgue or some other location. 4, why don't you ask your sire? Or, sorry, not your sire, your mentor. If they're the one teaching you this stuff, do they not know of a way to procure these without necessarily having to fully dig up a grave?
It's not like she hasn't already dug up a bunch of graves and has a stash of rotting corpses on one side that's not
Alvin
being
doesn't
used.
know this.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I'm just reminding Pius.
Well,
Or
even as a boy, Pius liked doing things unnoticed to show his accomplishments at the end, which is how he got
yeah,
his watch broken.
Mm.
I'm just going off of what Pius does.
Oh yeah, no,
yeah,
no, no. Like these are
yeah.
questions that
I
Alvin's.
understand. I'm
No, 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 no.
just saying that.
These are questions Alvin is putting to Pius. This is up to Pius to answer these questions.
Uh, yeah, I think. I could definitely ask my mentor. I just think it'd be cooler if like I came to her prepared and showed her that I've been learning and working hard on it.
All right, let me point this out. You only get to use this ability once in the night, and that's it. We're not going
Yes.
into combat. Even if you do this right now, you're basically wasting a resource for later. And three, who are you going to show it on to show your mentor that you've actually learned it?
He looks down and kicks his feet. A rat.
So you're gonna dig up a grave of somebody that's resting peacefully to kill a rat to impress your mentor.
And then this is when Pius's chin touches the floor. Yes, and he looks up at you even harder.
All right. No, we're not gonna do this here. We want to do this in order to make sure that the Sabbat can, suck eggs fine. But, we could go about this more intelligently, man.
I mean, it's either there's another cool one, then he just starts going on about all the rituals he's been reading on, and he just opens up to Alvin right away.
All right, so you can tell me about your cool superpowers and things like
He's
that.
been reading a lot of messed up books. That's the
Uh,
gist
uh,
of what you get.
and we'll go ahead and try to figure out ways where we can, do this a little more economically for your little superpowers. Yeah.
All right. And he would walk off with Alvin, just going on and on about the Western necromancy and the Eastern necromancies. So, and then there's the Hand of Glory, and if you mummify that, you can make people fall asleep, and they won't even know you sucked their blood. And he just keeps on going and going.
Yeah, like the time you snapped people's necks because they were sleeping and couldn't be woken.
And his head hit the floor again. He had a fourth wall break and could hear.
Buddy, you're lucky you got somebody who has the ability to literally ask someone to comply with a request.
Pius would smirk. He's so used to putting his hands, and making other people feel good. It's nice that someone's making Pius feel good right now.
Is he though? Is he really?
Yeah, because becoming a vampire, like you said when he woke up, he's just coming into his own, and this is different for him.
Note that not once has Alvin called him a monster. He's only referred to it as superpowers.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. The only one out of the group that's ever really was harsh on Pius was Ashley at first.
I mean, you've gotten chewed out by Alvin a couple times, but
Yeah, but
I mean, granted,
I
the
broke
thing,
your
the,
stuff.
the things that you got chewed out for by Alvin were things that are legitimately something you would expect someone to chew you out for.
Yeah,
So,
those had reason.
I mean, even Pius probably wishes he had been a bit more gentle in removing parts from Alvin's computer. I mean,
Yes. Now, Joshua's Basement Door, that is a game that Pius is enjoying.
Hmm.
yeah. So we drive on away, and I'm gonna take the guess that we're gonna head back to the bagel at some point.
Pius
Maybe,
would get the humanity back.
go over like what we could do for this. I don't really know what everyone's planning on doing for the rest of the night since we're now split, but we could also do other things before the night ends. Yeah.
And we can have a big brainstorm session back at the Bagel, Pius, and Elvin on what Elvin thinks that Pius would be cool doing.
Yes, we will be ending the session soon, but do y'all want to
Mhm.
get back together at the bagel first? Do you want to bring this night to a close?
I hope the kids are all gathering downstairs, so I guess we'll probably bring it to a close then.
Well,
No, no,
Ashton,
I mean like at the night itself. Like, are y'all do you want the coterie to like regather and then end the night, or do you have other plans for this specific night?
Oh, okay. No, I'll keep going.
Hmm.
What,
So,
Pandora?
my curiosity
I.e.,
is
will
Olivia.
next session be starting like at the end
Right.
of this night, or will it be starting with a fresh night?
Ashley, Olivia, you two are paired up and haven't really said too much of what you want to do
Anna
after your little
Ray
girl
can skip,
conversation.
I guess.
Oh.
No, never mind. She's running back downstairs. Jesus Christ.
A mom's work is never done.
I'm back.
Yep. We are currently deciding how to bring the session to a close. Whether or not y'all have any more plans for this evening, or if y'all want to go ahead and like gather up and we'll catch there next time, or do you want to go ahead and go your separate ways for the night and we'll start with a new night next session, or whatever.
It's like what, 2 o'clock in the morning at this point?
Yes.
We have about 4 hours left.
If you're being generous, probably 3 hours and change.
Well, I thought night lasted a little bit longer in this setting.
I suppose. Yeah, we can go ahead and say 4. It's fine.
So, with 4 hours left in the night, is there anything that Ashley and Olivia would like to aim to do for a next session?
I don't know right off the bat. I'd have to think about it. I know I am thinking about upping my firearm skill.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Then might I make a idea/recommendation? Since we do have 4 hours left in the night, and we don't necessarily know what we would like to do with those remaining 4 hours, how about we use those roleplay channels that Steph's got set up, and spend those last 4 hours, tossing back little bits and bobs. Whether that's you guys return to the bagel, whether that's you guys decide to go do something else. And we'll still pick up next session on the dawn of a new night altogether.
Very well. In that case, assuming everyone's in agreement, we will move on to the usual end of session formalities. Starting, of course, as usual. Well, not as usual. I change this every time I do it. We'll start with Olivia. Olivia, what did you learn tonight?
Oh God, a plethora of things. Learn that Father Vitale is basically a traitor to the Sabbat, his clan, and stuff like that. That he basically doesn't know much about the Sabbat movements or disappearances as anyone else in the city. She she learned about the Lasombra, kind of the Dragon Clan. I can't say it, not gonna try. She learned a little bit about Thin Bloods. Tamishi.
It's Mishi.
She learned a little bit about Ashley's past, like Pius wants tainted holy water. She's all over the place with information right now.
Yeah, you definitely get your +1. In fact, I think you're all going to get your +1, but whatever. Alvin, what did Alvin learn tonight?
I can use coffee to make Jim blood bonded. I could make anybody who through the Daily Bagel a ghoul by accident. I have to be careful.
Yes, you are working with fluids that enter bodies while carrying fluids that shouldn't enter bodies.
I am literally sitting on a gold mine for ghouls without them knowing it. I could passively and unconsciously just make everyone bonded to Alvin.
Mm-hmm. Of course, then you would need to maintain that bond, and that would be a lot of blood points a month.
Oh yeah, it does cost a blood point in order to do the bond, doesn't it?
It costs a blood point. Well, actually, it costs 3 to fully bond someone. So you gotta give them 3 doses over three separate nights.
I forgot, so I didn't mark one off. So I will mark one off.
And obviously, in order to maintain the bond, you gotta give them a blood point every month.
That's not that bad, because that means I could have 30 ghouls that just cycle into the bagel at any given point. Just 1 cup of coffee on that day of the month.
His mind is already scheming.
Indeed. Well, that is Alvin's +1, absolutely. Ashley, what did Ashley learn tonight?
Ashley's main takeaway is that the Sabbat seems to be comprised of the Lasombra and the Samichi, and that they are definitely planning something nasty.
And a whole smattering of members of other clans and bloodlines, yes.
Yep.
And what is Pius's takeaway tonight?
It was
Come
similar to
on.
Alvin's. It was similar to Alvin's, but I'm thinking of something different now. There's probably an
It's
obvious
fine.
one.
It's fine. It's fine. You all saw enough that there's no way you're going by tonight without getting the learning XP.
This was the
Which-
learning episode, honestly. Like,
Yeah. Y'all got a bunch of exposition, whether that was from Olivia spending willpower points to gain information and a very disturbing dream, or from y'all just meeting with Father Valtale. In any
Or-
case,
or sharing secrets with each other.
we're sharing secrets with each other. So that is currently 3 each, but now it is MVP time. Pius, who is Pius's MVP?
Alvin.
Why?
It was the whole thing with Pius, and not only that, the scene when he was talking about noticing things with Pius, and the music was hitting it so hard.
Oh, you really like that credo, don't you?
Yeah, and then just the whole talk about someone going into madness and losing humanity, like it just fit really well. Even if it wasn't about Pius, that conversation fit well with the music.
Mm-hmm.
It was a great scene.
Yeah, I like that. I like the background track I got for the St. James Cathedral catacombs.
Mm-hmm.
In any case, that is one vote for Alvin. We move on to Ashley. Who is Ashley's MVP?
Elvin for taking on the boon by himself with the Ravenos.
Good catch, good catch. Alvin, who is Alvin's MVP?
Yeah, I'm gonna toss this one over to Olivia, mostly out of, like, yet again, she continues to be our, like, guiding path of information and just having the wherewithal to, put together bits and pieces. And her roleplay today was top tier.
She roleplayed having an awful, awful nightmare rather well, yes.
Poor girl.
Speaking of Olivia, who is Olivia's MVP?
It'd be Alvin, and basically for the same reasons.
All right, Alvin sweeps it. 3 XP for everyone and +1 for Alvin. I would say I'd see you here. I would say I'd see you in 2 weeks, but I will be seeing you in 2 weeks, just not over
Yeah,
this
you will.
connection.
Kitchen will be ready for you.
Yes, I did say I would make something. We can decide what that something is when I get there and we have time to go by the store or something. Anyway,
Yes.
I do believe that that means that our next session will be on the 22nd of June, I believe.
All
Yep.
right. I think we have one Giant Slayer session before the wedding.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Okay. Cool.
Yep, that will be the day before. I mean, like, Tuesday is like the evening before I get on the train. I'll get on the train like Wednesday evening. So,
Oh wow.
in any case, I'll talk to you all later.
All right. Later.
Bye.
Later.